Yeah.
Fall right down, I knew he did that.
Wow, it's got.
It was one of those
Everything in
things.
between? Yeah.
Questions of life, you know, what am I doing? Why am I here? What's my purpose?
All right, we've already started broadcasting. It's got to be on. And hello, everybody. This is Patrick. It looks like we have begun. And I'd like to thank you for your patience and blah, 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 blah. And as in the words of Charlie Brown's teacher, womp, 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 womp. So I'm just doing the last of the tech and everything is good. It's so cool to do this stuff. And I'm cool. It's all good. So we are here, and it may sound silly, but we've got some really interesting things happening. And please respond on the link on the webcast, because that's how you guys are going to tell me how the tech is. So we got, wow, a few people already logged in. I sent it out 1 minute ago. Everything's good. And so I just got a couple more tech things, and we're going to begin with I'm not going to be very descriptive because I might use the wrong words and the universe will take me literally. God, you ever done that? Like, this will be a crash bang event. Oh no! What did you said? Oh my God. So I'm wondering if how the universe is hearing us sometimes, because you just wonder how that is, because sometimes it feels like it may not be listening, but it does, in the way that you always find out sometimes later on how truly amazing it is. And so I might have just turned on an app that I've never done before, so that's good. Welcome to the wonderful world of planet Earth. And if you're incarnating for the first time, it was nice to know you. Because I'm not hanging around here. We're going up with the Kartron experience, going to home, which is the place that is not, let's just say, this is not our original hoodie. And so people like this wonderful Reverend Michael Shane and Reverend. Just kidding. I made it sound like I have a lot of people here.
We're revving up.
We probably all are, though.
Huh?
We probably all are.
Yes, I am. Okay, good. Now I have a good recording, because I want to make sure to get this audio and everything really good, because the way the universe works, you know, I couldn't even get Kartron going, get him recorded for the first 7 years that he was coming in. It would always mess up. It's like, no. But either timelines changed or something, but it was just like frustrating. And then one day, this guy from Tasmania was able to record it. He happened to be in Hermosa Beach, California, and it's like, wow, that cool, really works. I don't want to give you any more juice, otherwise I'd let you hold this cute little piece of cosmic candy right here, but no, none for you right now, because we're going to get you all wrapped up later. In fact, if you guys are on, which I'll be sending a link, I'm going to actually have 3 broadcasts in one, because it's just too complicated right now for me to keep sending out 3 links. I'm learning how to do this with this thing where you guys actually pay for this, so you know, this will be 3 in one, and so this will be each hour or hour and a quarter will be a broadcast. So this one is going to be, I sent it out in the newsletter. Basically this is Awakening of the Phoenix, and it's kind of weird, but you guys are all over the planet, and so you probably have the perfect time to watch this, eating popcorn and watching life ascend. God, I do look good. Oh yeah, so does the Phoenix. Hi there, little birdie. So we're going to actually bring that in, or Kartron will. And this is something that's really good. So now I will begin this process. Thank you so much for attending this April 7th, 2017 broadcast of the Kartron Experience. We are here at the precipice of a very unique opportunity, which you've probably heard all this before, but you will not have experienced the way that we are about to present it this weekend. And that's a big load to say, because you guys have been doing this forever. You've been doing, you know, how many philosophies are in this room here? Probably a few hundred that you guys have all explored and checked out. So in order for me to say, oh, this is going to be really amazing, then I better really have something cool going on. And that's why I can duck and run and have Kartron and Metatron come through, and it wasn't me. And so that's my default I always got my back up.
That's
I
the
can
back.
dodge out easy, real easy. By the way, here's that wonderful little unknown angelic crystal. This is an apport that Reverend Michael Shane did bring through when he first landed in an impromptu bringing through, and I showed it to you on the intro. And this thing, they're being mum about it. So you know, when they're quiet about it, there's several reasons why that could occur, and some of them it's on a need-to-know basis, and I'm not going to get into all the reasons because this is something that's going to be really cool. The angel right now that's going to be here, named Rebecca, is in flight right now, and she's not using her own wings. She's actually pulling her carcass over here through Allegiant Air. So thank you, Allegiant Air, for a wonderful flight. And I'm going to have, there will be an introduction here. Looks like everything's good, and I'll make sure my phone doesn't overheat because it's like hot flashes. That ruins the whole broadcast. So, oh goodness, let me see. I gotta check something. This might be actually connected to my phone. So, can you guys hear? Oh,
Did you want this camera up here on?
huh?
Did you want that camera on?
Yes, please. And so, I just need to make sure, one tech thing, and actually you're gonna speak, so are you okay to use this while you speak?
Yes.
Well, you're the only other corporeal being that's gonna be slated to talk right now.
Okay.
And so, this is the Bluetooth, which makes for really good quality,
Oh,
but,
okay.
okay, good. Is the audio on the video good? Because I just connected it up and I'd have to actually go over there, and I'd love to not do that. And so, yes, and you can tell when I start talking in circles that I'm stalling for myself, because I'm wondering if I actually did pull it off and I'm actually not in a weird dream, and I'm gonna wake up and realize that I actually have a regular day job as some CEO. But it's okay. This is the best dream ever. So you guys are in for a very interesting experience, and the first one that's going to actually bring this through will be Reverend D. Kennedy. You are Reverend, yes?
Yes, sir.
Last time you checked.
Yes.
And so as Dee and Randy have created the Phoenix Rising, it has been a very interesting journey for them. You know, there's a lot of past stories that are coming up now, and if you guys are at least partially human, then you will have found that you too may have a lot of past things that are going on, of things, stories, old things that just keep rising up. Well, this weekend is a time to not only launch and inaugurate, consecrate the Phoenix Rising, it is also a chance to be able to release the stories that we've used as foundations. So we're going to have Metatron and Kartron, well, we are not going to have them, it's what they can do, facilitate the process of releasing us from those loops and glitches that often get us in this like round robin thing, fishbowl effect of being to use the things that may not have been so positive that we think may be negative in some views as the reference. It just keeps showing up. And then they can talk about the whole process on this. So Reverend D is going to come in and she's going to do the officiation and the protocols that you usually do with everything from the Aquarian Foundation to the Ascension Foundation to the Order of Divine Light and all the progenerations beyond, that this is a timeless methodology to bring in the protection and invoke the masters. So as we do this, just tune in to the process that these beings have used for centuries in a time-tested, a multi-timeline tested manner. Because truly we are, as pioneers, on the edge of things at all time. I myself, living in the quantum state since 1989, have found it more comfortable to be on the edge of the unknown at every moment. Because you know that there's always divinity possible around the corner. And once you get to a certain frequency, then the other stuff isn't showing up anymore. So then you become a really cool instrument without encumbrance of all this luggage. It's kind of like the just married or just divorced thing, and you got these big suitcases and steamer trunks instead of these little cans following your car. So we're cutting those off and letting it all happen. That was a metaphor and a symbology that might have just went over my head too. So good thing the Phoenix will catch it. And so it's pretty weird. God, we look good. This stage is, you know, it's like the modern day temple. It can be for $100 or less at Home Depot. Yes, you too can have a Phoenix Rising temple in your own home. And boy, you're gonna ask for it if you do, because you're gonna bring that in as well. And it may look like something that's really cool and that's really great, but actually there are these ancient sciences that do bring them in. And so when you ask for this process of this holiness, of this ascension, of this knowledge and wisdom and connection with God and all of that stuff, you are going to get the rest of the package. And so, as many of you know, that when you start something, sometimes it has to go through the whole cycle. And then if you're saying, yes, I'm going to be this amazing thing, everything that's in the way of that the universe will turn into road pizza on its way to deliver that from the truck that Jesus is driving to bring heaven to earth in your, you know, so that's kind of how it feels sometimes when it's really intense. So thank you guys. This is Patrick, and I'm going to be bringing Kartron through. But first, let's have Reverend D. Kennedy come in and look really good smoking in this set of your own church, temple, center, whatever you want to call it, and it's all good. I'll see you in a bit.
How long do I have?
Just whatever time you want. You can be quick if you want. This long?
Okay, well, Patrick's still on the video.
Give it, it's a 15 to 30 second buffer.
Oh.
So it's not me cloning myself. It's like Dee's showing up in a moment.
All right, well, welcome everybody to Phoenix.
I'm gonna have you speak loud.
Welcome everybody.
Just use your outside voice.
Too better. I could use the unfriendly dog voice, but that's not pleasant for anyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? All right. Welcome everyone to Phoenix Rising Metaphysics Spiritual Center, where we're having exciting times.
Put this on your ear just in case
yes.
they're listening through that.
Oh, there I am. Oh, and I'm laughing. Oh, that's just horrible. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Phoenix Rising. Let us pray. But first, let us take 3 deep breaths. Breathe in as deep as you can, and exhale through your mouth. This exercise links us with the divine source. Dear Heavenly Father, Mother, God, infinite source of all that is, we give thanks for your presence here and now, and we focus upon the divine source energy within us all. We surround and seal this premise, this broadcast, and everything about us everywhere in the golden armor of silver light. Nothing but God or good may enter herein, and all things not of God or good are forced to leave peaceably immediately. We are surrounded in the light of God, forever and always. We call upon our guides, our teachers, the angels and the archangels, to come and join us in this mist as we focus on how to bring about a betterment of our world in our lifetime, benefiting all. We breathe deeply the energy of the divine source, and it centers us. And we reach up past the photon belt and our visualizations, and we bring down the divine source energy. And we anchor it through our chakra system. And it passes through us down into the earth's core, where we anchor into the earth. We are one with the earth energies and with the etheric energies of the divine. And we breathe deeply this energy for spiritual healing now. Breathe 3 times. Let go of those things that do not serve you. And breathe in those things to replace it, of good, of God, of love, of balance, of harmony, of justice. Know that you are linked with the real ascended masters of Shambhala, the space beings, your own personal guides and teachers, your relatives of like mind who have passed over into spirit, and all those other light workers known and unknown across this planet. For we are all linked into the network that surrounds this earth that we call a grid. Know that as we focus upon Divine God, the Divine Source, we are one with it, and we are one with all others of like mind, and together we can do mighty things. And we use this energy for the betterment of this planet. We bring wisdom and intelligence to all those that have the power to make decisions to affect so many. We send in the blue ray of peace and harmony and justice so that those decisions may be balanced. We bring in the pink ray of God's love so that we may all have a touch of the divine, so that we may all be focused on the good of all, not just for the few with the agendas. We call upon Count Saint Germain's violet flame to throw into this mix of color ray energy now. And we transmute all things that are not of God or good, that are not harmonious, that are not in sync with the new waves of energy coming to us now. And we change those things into positive spiritual energy for the use of all of our guides, our teachers, the angels and archangels and the ascended masters, the Lord and Lady Masters who guide us and protect us every single day. We affirm all that we have said and visualized is in accordance with divine will and law as we make manifest God's plan on earth in our lifetime. So be it, so it is. Amen. Ta-da! Thank you, everyone.
So, that was a good opening. You did a great job. Just use, I don't question that lady. It's like, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. She had that whole authority thing done really well.
Not so.
That was good. Thank you, Dee. Hello, yes, Elizabeth. It's great. I'm gonna actually, all right, I will. I'm supposed to do something else with this link right now because we're gonna start building a momentum. And this is going to be pretty interesting, and it's going to take me just a moment, and then Kartron's going to come through, and it's like, imagine doing Earth Tech while having an interdimensional mess with your head at the same time. I'm going to just kind of like do one thing at a time, and not have him mess with my head. Oh God, I got a weird voice that's digital, and it tells me what time it is, and I don't know how to get it up. It goes, it is 2 o'clock. Sounds like Stephen Hawking telling me what time it is. What? You know, I think they have, how many of you guys have guides that actually feel like they really want to mess with you to keep you on your toes? It's like some of them were drill sergeants or something.
Let me count the ways.
The guy, other part of the Phoenix Rising foundership is, you know, like that. So it's like, okay. And, you know, it's just one of these things. So I'm gonna just, blast the bahoogies out of this.
So are we having a station break, but essentially while you do your thing?
Oh no,
Stay
this
tuned.
will happen like right now. And so this is that quick. I've gotten to the place where if I'm gonna mess up, you gotta waste no time doing it. So that's what's necessary. And so, yes. You know, it's amazing how you can ruin your reputation in a few seconds nowadays. And so, you know, might as well be efficient about everything. And I reserve the right to be the one to ruin my own reputation rather than let someone else do it first. because then I get to have all the energy. And so, let's see what that is. And that's good enough. And boom. Oh my God, we've done it now. Yeah, I don't care, just stop it. And so, everything's good. Now we've just connected in several more people because we're gonna start building that energy. Kartron, an interdimensional being from the realm of essence, happens to be going to be coming in now, and he's a real hoot, as some of you know. And one of his terms is Daddy K. When Reverend Michael Shane saw the Kartron, he noticed that it was very interesting, and people have gotten a lot of different versions of what the Kartron is, and you can consider him kind of like, I call him like a sentient search engine of the mind of God. It's really interesting to describe because he doesn't fit into any particular category. And when he's basically not fitting into anything, he can be everything. And thus, with the powers of the quantum state, of the universal natures of that, which would be called God's source, he can be anything or do anything that he needs. So I've seen him do things that just seem impossible, but in the realm of miracles, those things which can create destiny is sometimes an everyday occurrence. So Kartron's going to come through, and we're going to now have him do the awakening of the Phoenix in the tradition of all of that. We'll see you later. Life is good. And Randy, he will stand because he's going to be doing whatever Kartrons do. And so if you could make sure those cameras are good. And I actually am going to touch my other phone because that thing gets hot. I'll be right here. Kartron's going to come through then.
Everything looks good.
I just, this thing gets toasty. How's that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah.
Don't throw up. I just jiggled you. No, really, everything's fine. It's all good. Yeah. Well, I'm going to be standing, and he's going to be standing in a moment. We'll see you guys later. Life is good. The next several days are going to be wonderful. We peaked. And so, hello everybody. Guess who? The one who will hassle you next into ascension. This is Kartron, the interdimensional being from realms of essence, and our slogan is interdimensional transformations and general adjustments. If your car's broken, get someone else to fix it. If your consciousness needs awakening, come to us. Oh yeah. But just know that when you connect with us, you may like it a lot. And we did warn you that you're going to want more and more sometimes. So welcome everyone to this process. How many of you have felt like something's afoot and it's not describable? Well, we're going to take our shoes off because you may want to be grounded. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
We got him. I was just flying around the cosmos, and then Kartron, oh God, I come to say hello. Can I go now? Yes. And that was close. That was what your aura said just now. And if anybody has any messages for us, please do not psychically shout. We can't hear you. And please save your breath and use your inside psychic voice. Thank you. Because sometimes people will just shout. It's like, what, you gotta go to the bathroom in the brain? Just relax. It's all right. It all flows well. So, thank you guys. Let us try this and begin the process because this is going to be a rather unique experience. The Phoenix Rising represents something very profound, and we are going to be combining some, let's just say it's going to be like a bridge experience, taking very, very, very primordial processes. At the same time, we're bringing in God level stuff, as well as bringing in a modern day, more MTV version of reality of how you can do this in this time. There's so many changes that are going on right now, and it is challenging as humans sometimes, for especially as beings of light who are aware that you have this situation to where you're trying to keep a modicum of sanity and consciousness and continuity of thought, and you're spread across dimensions, and so sometimes you'll be in a very spacey state, and another time you'll be down here saying, oh, I'm driving a car, and another time you're saying, oh, that's right, I forgot to pay my bill, and there's a thing called a late fee, and then, oh my God, I got this other energy, and you may have these issues from the past and these thoughts of the future. It can be very confusing as a corporeal being who is primarily of a sentient consciousness of God. And so therefore, it's like, what the heck is going on? And so whenever we scan you, we do not see the shell that is your body. We see the costumery that is around your soul, because it is this layers of raiment that is you, but you primarily have always been a spark of source as a divine instrument of God. You, as a soul, are the ones who are here to do the work, because look at you on this graph of awakening. You are like way up here, hitting the ceiling of materiality. And so it can be very challenging for you, who are the first ones to be receiving that wave of energy, because you are also connected with all of this. And so being stretched in all of that and prodded while having this high awareness, while still being, connected with all of that and dealing with issues and past life karma and all this stuff, and I'm going to incarnate again, and I don't want to go to Thanksgiving with my family I never related with anyway, type stuff can be very taxing. And it's like, I must leave this planet. And then you notice the exit sign has fallen off, and there's about 3,000 doors. And if you choose the wrong one, hey, you get to be back here dealing with it again, multiplied. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And so it's like, it can really suck to be you. But just realize that you are on the precipice. If we opened up what was going on with you right now to you, then you would really you would see this situation with a lot more gratitude. We are scanning, but you would then be so busy revelating in this high awareness state that you might forget your exit on the freeway. So we kind of just keep you shut down into this box of separateness so that you can still operate, because if you've not noticed or have, just to let you know, you are still breathing. And so therefore, if you are still breathing, you qualify of a sentient state too. Okay, so is the video stopped? Okay, I meant refresh if the video stops. Okay, thank you, Joanne, for almost trying to mistakenly give us a mistake of trying to mess with that. That was wonderful. So yes, hopefully it's working, and we're just going to presume that it is. We almost said assume. And so you are looking dapper today, Reverend Shane.
Thank you.
And you are getting all revved up for the big thing. This big thing that he's going to be a part of is actually kind of like, you go first into that dimension and bring this in, and let's put the Michael there. He's a good body shield, and we're going to see what happens. But we're going to have a lot of support for you in the quantum fuel generator portal tower. This thing tonight will be quite profound, and hopefully you guys have brought snacks, because you may need some blood sugar reinforcement as we move a lot of energy in your favor. We will give you full disclosure and warning as to what's going on. But first, isn't it time to bring something through called the Phoenix? And so let us begin this process. Rise, oh great microphone. Ooh, that was so special. And so, yes, could you check those leverages? And so,
Would you like to put that on a chair or a table?
Oh, we are going to be quite loud enough. Wherever it is, you will hear it. Because we're going to use our cosmic outside voice. Way to go, dude. Serapis says hello. These masters that you guys work with are such champions. And it's time for them to receive a new level. It's time for everyone to start receiving the next level. And have you met a lot of people that are resisting going through their issues and having everything else? Okay. So also, you will use the chat on the video to make sure that everything works, because this is something that we are going to not send energy through, but we are going to do our best to have no computer harm during the making of this ascension. Because terrorist tech is so dumb sometimes. Smartphones, sometimes they're smart ass phones. And so, what we would like to do is let you know that you are going to be assisting us in bringing through a certain level of energy. See, this is the practical joke. We will make a capitalist have a problem when they're doing important work to have tripod not work. Okay, yes, we won. That was not Chinese, although it could have been. And so, could be Korea, Jakarta, Madagascar. And so everything is working here. So we got the tech going. And what we do when you guys do this work, do not send it through your phone unless you really want to have an interruption in service. One time we were working with a Sherpa when the Nepalese earthquake happened, and he didn't know, and he tried to help, and he kept shutting off the broadcast because he would drain the battery. So he'd like, send love. It's like, no, don't send it through the phone. You have it show up where you're placing it. Because in the quantum state, is there a separation between you and what is happening here? Absolutely not. Because on the soul level, you are all one. Therefore, you are not separate from the Kartron. Therefore, you have the same abilities and powers as the masters and the Kartrons and the God source and all of that. The thing about your situation is, as a corporealized soul, is that you had to forget in a certain amount that is very specific so that you could not go through so many levels of things such as covenants, contracts, karma, incarnation stuff, dealing with these people that you're taking on, larger collective processes, and holding that point as the instrument of God. And so as that, it took the stronger souls to be mortals. And that is why we always call you the heroes of heaven. So if no matter how far someone seems in a dark way, if you look at this from God's point of view, you will see that there is a divinity in all things when you see it from the sight of God. Because they are all characters on this holographic stage. Even the greatest evil was necessary to have a full spectrum of polarized experience, because that modicum of what would classify only technically but sometimes not really called free will choice is something that you are having to require to then facilitate as light workers the mediatorship between the different dimensions of these souls that are taking longer incarnated as humans and mortals. And so, tech check, one more thing, let us begin. And so, we will be nice and not put this near a hot surface. We are going to be invoking the energies. If you feel these energies coming through, do not personally involve yourself. You will be using the pillar aspect. Remember your still point practice to where you will go into center. If you feel like too much energy is happening, go into your still point within and allow it to go through your presence, because this is about invoking a being that is being to be summoned and start restoring justice on the planet. And so this being sometimes is considered very large. For the record, the Phoenix has been that being which would go between the Garden of the Gods and the earth throughout time. There have been many beliefs and religions based upon it, and there's the order of the phoenix and all of that. And so this phoenix bird would then, through the cry of the Valkyries, go up into the garden of the gods where Kuan Yin and her 7 avatars would often meet. And so therefore they would come, and the phoenix would come here, and it would then seek a golden heart in the realm of mankind, so that then when it did, it could then go report to the gods that it had found a true fulfillment of the nature of the grant of Creator for humanity. So therefore, this phoenix traveling between dimensions would have to consume itself in the flames and immolate itself and just basically combust into the enlightenment of the power of the source fire of God and die to who it is, so that then it could be reborn up into the realm of the gods. And back and forth it would go throughout time, searching for the golden heart in mankind. So, here we go, guys. Let's bring a little birdie back, shall we? In order to do this, kids, don't try this at home in your little studio apartment. It'll get kind of toasty. And we're also going to be asking Archangel Michael to come in, because Metatron is going to do a multi-level temple process after we are done. And so this process is going to be rather interesting. Randy, you will hold the place over in New York. Thank you very much. Elizabeth, you will be in Canada. Wait. Radiant Angel? Aren't you on a plane, Rebecca? Okay. Rebecca's on the broadcast.
Cool.
How can she do that in a plane? Oh. Okay, well, she's gone here. Okay, that's fine, whatever you want, as long as it's working. Yay! The angels are watching. They are the original voyeurs. They know where you live. They know when you are sleeping. They know when you are bathing. They know what you're doing on the internet. So, oh my God. And it's the angels. Oh, yeah. Reverend Michael Shane might explain this about how at one time the angels had souls themselves. And so there was the necessity, and so you would have a better picture of this, about how the soul and the angel had to separate so that a fall could occur. You see, this place of Dum Dum Land, Stuck on Stupid, and other things, is a sanctuary that allows a lesser, slower pace to be able to evolve these souls so that they can then catch up. It's like the thing that takes a lot longer. And so as they are lagging from their star systems and stuff, Earth took them on a long time ago. Beings like the Phoenix is more of a primordial elemental essence. And the Phoenix then, well, actually upon the consecration of that covenant for the Phoenix Rising with Metatron and the great founders of Phoenix Rising, who are now becoming historically known upstairs, but we didn't say that. Shh. Oh, look at this. And so this wonderful sign came out a few hours after the covenant was reinitiated, because this was not just about a phrase. It was the fulfillment of a legacy. And this was just the most recent thing over the last 50 years of prophecy. But this is something that is millions of years old. For this is alchemy. And for you as humans, it is an alchemy of the soul. The mysteries of the universe, as they open up to you, then become part of the wisdom of your existence, whatever realm you are on. As this opens up, relegated not are you any longer to any capacity of a particular continuum or corporeality or dimension. Your options become much greater. And so therefore, as you do this, you are no longer bound by the incarnation and mortal realm, and all the wonderful things such as aging and disease and issues and polarity and tricky incarnations and stuff that basically you might consider plague this material world, but are actually part of the necessity of the loop to get this process alchemically awoken. The Phoenix itself is like a shortcut, boom, where you can get right into the center flame of that pillar. But it means in many ways you will die to do this process to who you are. A lot of times there are dark energies that are wanting to ascend, and this world says, oh, they're not good. A lot of times there's these energies not of a higher frequency that know no other way, and so you as light workers, as you get into the higher form of awareness, realize that it isn't really so much this good and bad, Snedley putting the maiden on the train tracks and Dudley Do-Right having the biggest chin ever that is actually looks like a phallic symbol. It's the thing that is not really what this is about. It is about the facilitation of this and the allowance of the full spectrum of necessity. You who are here are now at this place in between paradigms. How many of you have run out of story and it's just not working anymore? To where you are going, well, what's next? And you are not getting the information. Where's the clarity? I've done everything on my list. And it's like, what the heck is going on? Because aren't I supposed to be ready for my next step? Well, at this time, you are in your next step. And by not knowing what to do next, you are in your destiny because you are facilitating us for the transfer mechanism between paradigms. We are getting ready to do a big transfer. 2017 will be like, oh look, there's more poop down there, dig deeper. And so this is where all of your crap comes up. Isn't that wonderful? And so as this happens, every issue that is of a primordial nature, even to the greatest subterfuge from other incarnations and karma, will then be brought up, because that undercurrent of detraction will not be able to go with you. Therefore, as you complete these and these things that are in a stuck capacity, you will be pulled from this and released. So it is a very intense time to stay breathing, and many of you know beings who have died and decided that their time was complete. And so, but do you not die every day in one way or another, especially now on the precipice of a new divine possibility? This is also to disclose to you that this is not your first rodeo, and so this is also where primarily you guys get to screw up the greatest possibility of messing up and going reset, and it's like, oh God. But this is also to let you know that in the yogic cycles of the large collective universal cycles of 26 million years on down to the little micro 26,000 year cycle of which you're finishing up the night part of the universal day called a dark yuga, is now really so precise that there are no more resets. This is like, okay, well, you've had enough playtime over the last million years. We're going to now really get you going. So let us begin this process and see what we can do. Archangel Michael, please sound the clarion call as we open the portal to the Grand Hall of the Archangels. Please surround this with 9 archangels each, also around the quantum field generator portal tower, because we are going to join them together and use that particular gateway science to do this work. As we do this now, we are going to now create a gateway in the place where the ancient phoenix has been. Everyone now, within your heart, we have placed, for those who know and for those who are new, we are going to give you a crystal temple of love within your physical heart. So just let it be there. It is a clear temple, and so it is neutral yet divine with all possibilities. So see this beautiful crystal temple in your heart. Also stand before it, because this is where you will become one with the phoenix this day. We now call upon the invocation of the ancient primordial realms. We will open a gateway underneath us to the heart of the mother, and we will, with the power of creation, now open this gateway with the power of God, and the hands of God will open this portal. 1, 2, 3, now. As this opens up, we then call upon the ancient, well, there's actually the Druidic and Celtic traditions, but that is the most recent ones of 10,000 years or so. This is a very Atlantean and Lemurian capacity as well, because we are going to change your past, because you guys got a little stuck, and it's time to really clear that out. So now, as we do this, we open up a gateway to Atlantis and Lemuria. So consider it like a masculine and feminine. And as we do this, we open these gateways up. Now, everybody, in some ways, all of these things are within you, even the source of God, Lemuria, Atlantis, and all of that. So as you feel this affecting you, it is also archetypically and collectively represented within your being. You have the masculine, the feminine, all of that going on. So we are using you as these pillars of heaven once you consent. Do we have your permission to use you as part of the pillars of this process?
Yeah.
We bring in and invoke, well, actually, you guys will be so high vibrationally that that will be your protection. Of course, this will help facilitate all of those things that you've had some challenges with to clear out of less than a higher nature. Okay? Miss Grace, if you could bring in your team and have them stay upstairs, because they are very busy and very eager to help. Michael, also prepare to invoke the masters, which Metatron will then issue a new decree after this. Feel this energy. Now we are going to have you also, as a pillar, realize that in your still points, where you are in the center of your being, where the cosmos exists, but as an individual, nothing to do, guys, okay? Just hold the place. Just hold that place, the beautiful still point, and see your life very large around you. Fall back into that. Be in the stillness where nothing exists, where there's no movement, in your circle of life. Okay, breathe deeply as we open up a crystal pillar and descend it down. It is like a liquid crystal of the light of God. This is the breath of heaven. Everyone now, as we open this gateway up in your God gate, breathe this in and feel the breath of the gods themselves fill you up in your lungs. This breathing technique is a very ancient way to join dimensions. Breathe out to your lives. Breathe in again the energy of the gods, that breath of heaven. You're breathing in light. And breathing it out into the world. And one more breath do we breathe this back through time of Atlantis and Lemuria. And this is the summoning and the invocator to indicate that it is time to awaken the fulfillment and finalization of the Yuga of Shadows. Breathe it out to Atlantis and Lemuria, this light of God. Go into your center once again. And now, within Nia is a very ancient primordial state. People think that the phoenix may be presiding up in heaven, which it does, but it also is connected to the crystal heart of the mother as one of the primordial elements of alchemical transmutation. Therefore, we now look down and you see an ancient portal, and this is a very ancient gateway, and we are going to ask Michael and Metatron and the Ascended Masters to come, and we're going to ask the Archangels to be there as we invoke the ancient presence. So let us create the portal so that then we can use the light language and really get things going. And so as we do this and bring in these ancient codes, we start activating and awakening this portal, this gateway, this stargate of sorts. Realize that spaceships don't necessarily just travel through time and space. Well, they travel through space, going from one place to the next, but they also travel through time. And as we do this, we then bring in the ancient capacities of Genesis. This capacity of Genesis then is part of this fulfillment of prophecy, which is basically a computer and software program for humanity to be a part of the fulfillment of its process as a laggard and slowest soul. So as we finish these invocations around this portal of the Phoenix, we now then ask that it awaken and stir within. So feel this gateway opening. You guys are holding this place. Each of you now, you are going to become the crystal pillars. So feel that crystal light. This is actually from the New Jerusalem and Shambhala itself. This is an immutable energy. So feel this energy. If it's too much, everybody breathe center. Good goosebumps on this body. And as we do this now, we see that Phoenix Gateway open, and then we also look above us at the top of where your pillar is with Shambhala, and we are seeing the same gateway as above, so below. Now we take that and invoke the same thing in a mirror image in reverse, and this then opens up the gateway and creates the ancient pillar. And this is the great causeway of the Phoenix itself. As we do this, we see that the bird stirs below, and we ask it to rise, rise, rise up now as we invoke this up. Also, realize that when you do this work, you're in simultaneous places, so at the same time, be here on the earth in your human state, okay? And it's okay, you can go back and forth. You are in all places at once because you're in the quantum state. This is how the gods do it, and you guys are becoming that, so this is some of your God training. Okay, so now go to the crystal temple of your heart. Stand before it as a great and mighty gateway and temple of light. And we open the gateway, and you go in through that into your heart. In there is the grand foyer. It is a beautiful chamber, and it is this beautiful thing. And if you look down, you will see the Metatron's cube of the sixth geometry. And this is the design that is of the cosmic nature itself, the architect of the gods, that then is the template of ancient temples and prophecy. This has the perfection, that Metatron's cube, which is part of your mandala in your floor of your crystal temple of light and love. And it is this which is all of creation is within you. So therefore, now, as we do this, we look to the sides of the six-sided plate, the entrance, the grand foyer, and we look, and you see that now we are going to create three ledges opposite the, so three sides opposite the entrance that you just came in. And these are the ledges where your Phoenix will be residing. And now we're going to ask the Phoenix to rise up and also then share. Do you consent to having the part of that Phoenix to be within you and to be one with you, to give you the power of the Phoenix to be able to do the work of God that it has in its prophecies and covenant? Is that okay that you guys are facilitating and helping the Phoenix do its job?
Yes.
Is that okay that it's also going to affect the stuff in your lives and it's going to stir things up a bit?
Yes.
Is it okay that this energy will open up and give you, an ancient wisdom?
Yes.
And so that means that you're okay with your crap coming out. And so as we do this now, we invite the Phoenix to come in, and you see this bird of fire rise up and come into your ledge. And also just know that this is not a permanent thing, that it can go out if you've had too much. Because it is alchemy, it's fire of cosmic nature, which is a primordial force of creation of the gods. And with this, they create evolutionary scheduling of the soul of different races. And so now, as you do this, and you enter the great and mighty grand temple, you enter the gateway of your temple, and then within this you have the three ledges. And these three ledges are the place where the Phoenix can light and be above. And so someone might enter your portal, your temple of love, and they won't know that there's a fiery bird watching them. And it is a little toasty, and it feels like you're being watched. The Phoenix knows what it's doing. So on the other side, underneath that ledge, there's another gateway. And walk through that on the other side of your grand foyer, and you will see that there's a great and mighty hall that opens up. And it is this hall that is a place where the minions of light can assemble. And so, as this happens, you can feel this energy of this light. It's part of your crystal temple. The crystal temple of love can be whatever shape you need, but this is the generalization that is required. And so as you do this, then you have this grand hall before you. And so this grand hall is the place where you can have your great mighty meetings of the masters within your very heart. And that is the gateway to you becoming one and going home with them. So in this great and mighty hall, you go, and through the back of that hall, you create a great and mighty urn. And this urn is a giant chalice. It is like many times your size. And it is in the center, in the back of that grand hall. And this is where the phoenix shall rise within you. Taking your deeds, taking that light, taking all of these experiences, which is your testimony and witness in your journey of many lives called incarnation. And so the phoenix will be your carrier. And we invoke this because the temple of the phoenix rising is within you, is it not? It is this energy that becomes you. And as such, with this power, it is not like, oh God, I got to do the phoenix's job. It is the fact that you are now a part of a grand process of ascension. So in this, we now invoke and awaken the phoenix. And we ask it to now bless our lives and give grace and to help us with the process of those issues where there are greater challenges. And in this, it will gently help transmute it. And in the great places, it can transmute greatly. So now, in the tradition of this, we will bring in the phoenix and we will use the holy wood of the Palo Santo. If we can actually figure out this thing. And so this, in fact, all we need to do is really like this, but let's get this thing going. And so as you guys do this, feel this, and we are now going to have this cauldron open up. And we're going to be the gateway that allows the phoenix to go home because it's been resting for a long time. And this Palo Santo, being one of the sweet woods, is one of the incenses of the gods. This is one of what's called the well-wishing woods. And this is that which removes blocks to your great and mighty fortunes. And so, as we ignite this, just know that this is in the tradition of the phoenix. Even though Bic may fail us, we still have the light. And so, how are you guys doing? As this occurs, we will test the temperature of the device. Did you guys feel this energy coming within you? For the phoenix is not without, it is within. It is this energy that we now will be creating a new divine light. And we didn't have a backup lighter, but that's okay.
I have a backup lighter.
Oh, good. Could you get that, please?
Put it in my pouch this morning. And we always listen.
Turn off your camera, your phone. I don't know if it needs to go back on.
Okay, we got it. Oh, no, we unplugged it. Leave it alone.
Okay.
It will cool it down. Okay. So now we are wanting this to be a little lower. And so as we ignite the primordial and eternal flame in the heart of your, in the temple of your heart of love, we ask that the phoenix come and be our offering to the gods. This is actually an incense, so if you would like to take this through the room, this is the Palo Santo. And so as this happens, allow the aroma of the ancients to come forward. This is the incense that has been in the temples of the ages. And as this occurs, may your light of your heart of love, for the fuel of the flame in the temple of love in your heart is your love itself. And so, this is that offering, and we ask the phoenix to now come and bless it with its holy essence. So guys, just allow this to integrate, to feel it coming in. And if you get to be too much, then just realize that this will be perfect. It's amazing what you get done in the amount of time. It feels like so much more time has transpired. You can cook it over here. We got the goodie basket.
Rebecca's going to text me when she lands, right?
Yes, she will land at 3:49, 2:49 p.m.
Okay.
So, actually, her thing came up, so she might be there.
Are you on the ground? Hello?
And so, Michael, would you like to have a bit of this next to you?
Are you on the ground?
And so,
Hello?
thank you.
You wanna open the door or?
Yes, hello? Are you on the ground?
She has a headphone issue.
Oh,
She can fly well, but not hear that great
okay.
because of the phone. And so with this, let this be known that the phoenix shall rise and this shall come into the heart of mankind. For you represent the pillars of light of mankind. And as this now, we're going to open the gateway of your heart and join it with the one heart of man and let this allow the prophecy of love to come forward. We're going to also ask the angels to open up the gateways of love from the outer heaven. And so therefore, let this pour forth as a reinforcement. So now feel a mandala of the Phoenix gateway above you, to now above in your temple of love. And so then as this opens up, there will be a great mighty beam of light, golden in nature, liquid in consciousness, and this will be the love of God itself, radiating down, filling the chalice, allowing the phoenix to rise up. And with this is the offering, burnt offering of the gods, and this energy then fills you up, and it fills your temple with so much love that it seems you must burst at your seams. With this love, then you shall now be opened up, and we will have you give this out to the world. But first we are building it up a little more. Breathe it in, breathe that love in. Feel this energy. Now this is the primordial essence of love that is used to create. This is the pure stuff of the gods. This isn't like love that mankind knows. This is love that creates worlds. And so this is actually the greatest substance in the universe that allows worlds, solar systems, planets, stars, and the universe to exist and be created. Therefore, this primordial essence of one of the original frequencies of source of love within you comes, and let it purify and bathe you in this love and light of God. Breathe it through, let it go, for now it's time for you to take the sweet burnt offerings of the issues that you've had and give it to the phoenix and put it into that cauldron in the back of your grand hall of the temple of love in your heart. And give that up, and this is your testimony. Take the pains, the sufferings, the weaknesses, all of these things, just let it happen. Give it up, put it into the cauldron, the phoenix will take it up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Feel its great wings of flame, right, open up and spread, and feel the great hall itself. And as that happens, the gateway then opens up and brings it up to the gods. The quantum field generator is now also opening up a twin portal. And as this happens, this energy will go up. And this evening, it will then come back as the form of a great mighty grand love for mankind. So this offering of your issues comes up. And this is what you did in love, is it not? As such, this is your gift to mankind of the price that you paid, of all these things you went through as beings of light. So now this offering being taken up on wings of fire, that the angels now help with this. We call upon the seraphim, the flaming angels. They are very hot. Don't try to hug them. And so just as we take this up, we now take, and the archangels now open this up and bring this up to God. So feel it lifting this burden of your life as the phoenix itself rises up with your blessing. Feel this opening up. Metatron will open up the temple of wisdom and love in the heart of God itself to receive this next. And this is your gift to God. With this offering, this burnt incense, this sweet wood of older Palo Santo and the traditions in your Bible, let it now raise up and release all of these burdens upon your soul and spirit, all these heavinesses. And this then allows you to be freed from the shackles of the covenants of encumbrance, so that you may fly freely with your soul. The phoenix will light in your heart from time to time, especially when it feels a great burden, and so it will be there as your messenger. The cry of the Valkyries will sound its entrance and exit, and then it will come and take that burden up as your offering on the altar of the heart of God. Feel the light coming in. There are beams of that love, remember, coming in this building. And as this happens, it loosens up all the heavies in your heart and your mind and your life. And as this, it will overflow. And this evening, it will be given out. It will go out to the world with this evening's consecration. But this will be the apportation. There will be a transpermutation, transphenomena of bringing in certain gifts from God. This is the rising of the phoenix and the awakening of this prophecy. This is Kartron. Thank you very much. And we will talk with you later in this weekend in the awakening of the phoenix ceremony. And we, on behalf of the divine, thank you for being our gifts of God to mankind and being your gifts of man to God. Farewell.
Restroom break time?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
This is actually the perfect time, which surprised me, that Metatron's gonna come through and he's gonna begin the process for the masters.
You wanna see something on this recording?
See something, hold on a
Yes.
second, everybody. What's that?
You see what I see?
Whoa.
It's not, you can't see it here. Everybody, if you want to, look at this.
What?
Is it, the flame looks like it's just,
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
That's the colors that he was talking about. Everybody on this local recording of this iPad, there's this golden ray thing coming in. I don't think it's a smear on the lens, but it will be.
It started when you invoked the presence.
Okay.
And it's only on the one.
I do not doubt.
it looks like it's beaming toward the picture on
Yeah,
the,
right to the picture.
on the, right to the
It's-
center of
it's
the
shooting
portal
right
on
to
on
this-
your,
This one?
picture,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shooting right
Yeah.
directly to the
shoot
picture.
right at it.
Whoa, so guys, we, thank you, looks like we're having a local, what do we call that? The
Phenomenon.
Phenomenon, yeah. So we got some gold going in, and it's time to really give it up. So we are also gonna give it up for Metatron, because he's gonna come through, and he's gonna do his thing. I'm gonna, I could do it standing, but it's probably not the coolest thing. So, guys, I'm gonna, Metatron's gonna come through. How are you all feeling? Please report. And I gotta,
I'm here.
I'm gonna check the temperature off this phone, cause we gotta keep this going. Wow. Whoa.
That's really something.
Whoa. What the? Okay, I agree. Well, this isn't so bad. It's doing okay. It gets so hot it shuts down.
Yeah.
So, all right. So guys, that was Kartron invoking, awakening the Phoenix and summoning and invoking it. There was some emotion when I was experiencing that. I'm gonna just very briefly bring Metatron through. Briefly, there's nothing brief about Metatron. He's kind of like Metatron. And so, guys, how are you doing? Okay, yeah, Bigfoot. There's some gold energy. It's like, oh yeah, 1 hour difference, yeah. Oh, yes, Elga, the replay is available because you linked into it. And so, Metatron, okay, I better reset before I get right into that for a moment. Maybe a little glass of water. And I'm gonna do something for myself. And this is about bringing in the masters, so I'm going to have this. Does anybody else have any water that they would like a drop of rose water in it?
That would be me.
You want them just to bring it up to you? Want me to get them?
No, I'll, they can bring, you can bring it up.
Thank you.
Want some rose in water?
Whoa, whoa. This was not as strong before.
Well, maybe you ought to, maybe mix them together?
Oh, that was very good. Somebody in the audience just had a happy moment. Oh, that's perfect.
I'm gonna, you put some rosewood in there, I'm gonna put some more water.
Okay. So guys, I'm gonna, this is actually rose hydrosol. When you drink this, it invokes a certain being that's known for roses. That's what I've noticed. And it happens to be Mother Mary. And
Hold that rosewood for a minute, I'm gonna get some for Fino.
actually, I'm gonna spray it because it's easier.
Okay.
And this is a very pure source from floricopia.com. David Wolf goes out and he goes with the distillers and he makes sure that they are purely satisfied. Yes. Yeah, look, I'm not in 3D anymore. Okay, so this is rose water. It'll be really good alternate vibration.
You can get closer, he won't bite.
I thought it was for him.
No, that's for you.
No, it's recording. Okay, so,
Can you have some?
oh, yes. And so, when you drink this, it does give an interesting
I
feeling.
think it's, yeah, he's already put a drop in.
Yeah, we're all good now.
Yes, and
It's
so this is
Floricopia.
floricopia.com. Can you taste it?
Yes.
It's very rosy. And hydrosol, for those who don't know, happens to be the water made from the essential oil making process.
Are we through with the flame? It's starting to,
Yes, it is. It's the, oh, that alarm is not gonna have, actually,
are you through with this?
well,
Okay.
actually, it's okay to leave it here, right?
Yeah.
Do we need to put something underneath?
No, I'm gonna open the door for airflow.
Oh, that's right, I forget that it eats up oxygen. So I'll see you guys later. Metatron's gonna come through. it was out. You can take it now.
Check, make sure it's not too hot.
Sending signals across the universe.
But how?
Ow.
Indian Joe.
Smoke signals, right?
How are you finding this energy? You notice how, for those who are, it's familiar that you have gone home now. For it is this light from whence you are that now is coming to this world. And it is this light which becomes you again. It is this love which becomes that which is the cornerstones of the temple of mankind. It is this light which has been throughout the history of mankind, even before its fall, was a part of its makeup which had to be removed for a time. And it is this love from whence you are, that now it shall be again. This temple of love in your heart as the chalice of God of your soul shall now become the cup, the holy grail of the elixir of life and love everlasting. For truly you are the gifts of love for mankind. It is in the honoring of your presence that we now invoke this new covenant of light to restore that which was torn asunder for a time, that was necessary as mankind went into the realm of shadows. And now, as it rises again, you who are these gifts of love, receive the heart of mankind. And this is the gift that you give as your legacy. For this legacy shall be what they will know you as throughout history and all eternity in the cosmos. You are not separate from the throne of God. You are pieces of that great and mighty portal. You are those drops of the ocean of prophecy. And you are the light of this world, incarnated in form. As such, it is time for you to receive that ocean again and be freed from demons of illusion which choke you, to allow the light of God to shine your soul, through your spirit and your mind and your consciousness and your bodies. For you, as these instruments of prophecy, shall now be walking the earth in fulfillment of that prophecy as the walk among men. Did you think you would be getting off so lightly? Because you are our gifts. Therefore, you as beings of light can no longer hold on to these burdens which of separation which have plagued you and been that heaviness in your lives. And because you are now proclaimed to take your rightful places as those instruments, the high and mighty lofty places of humanity, to take those positions of wisdom and power and light. Have you not noticed that your gifts are rising up, that you are being activated, very unusual and peculiar circumstances of an ascending nature? These things which are like what is going on have been happening of late. It's like, what is going on? I feel this light. I feel this love. I feel it happening. It is stirring within me. Yet I must be in the material world of humanity. This is not making sense. So now it is time to reveal the truth of the wisdom of this incarnation of separation. And so, is the phone, it looks like it is on, so it's a square and not a word go. Good. Are you ready to receive the legacy that is your own soul?
Yes.
On this chat thing, could you please respond if you are ready to receive this as well? Because this is something that there is no shutting down once we begin it. You have worked so hard at making sure you could forget enough, at helping to forget that you were God here to do the great work. For if you did know that you were going to suffer so much, that then you probably would have wanted to forget more. And so, this is a very large chart paper. Randy, could you take this sheet off? And so, in this level of being ones who forget less, have you not suffered because you knew too much? Because you knew about love and light. And even though there were these things that were upon you, even though these things were upon you of suffering, that did you not also feel love for your tormentors itself, because you knew the greater picture that God had intended as the instruments of divinity, although it would be, as Kartron says, such to be you? So now you have this light coming in that can be denied no longer. And you have this energy that is now saying, you will become this. And you see in the mirror of the soul that it is you. Feel it. This is a part of you. And it's like, whoa, but if I take this on fully, which you already started with the Phoenix, then you are at this place where all of these burdens of shadow and that which may be your familiar of non-light now can be no longer a part of your lives. What a great quest this is, to become one with your soul. For then you are both God and man, or woman. You are the keepers of the flame of light and love that has been prophesied in the mastery. Those ascended beings which have held the place for mankind and for you as beings of light throughout time immemorial, who now are ready to give their gifts to you, but now because there has been such a burden of this, you shall now be able to receive this gift, and they too are going to be released from that which they have held, because you are going to become the masters. Therefore, are you ready to release and let go of these things upon you of heaviness, and to receive this light and to release this other stuff that then no longer need to define you?
Yes.
And as we have said before, this will facilitate the final breaking of the shell of your costumery as it first and falls apart like an old paint job as you start emerging as your being as God. Your beings are now being summoned and invoked with this energy. And so let us begin this process because you said yes. Okay. This is the opening up of the temple of the heart of God, and we will then bring this forward into the nature of your soul, which will then allow for the capacities of light that will become you. So then in your corporeality, but not in your corporeality, you'll be able to hold that much light without immolation, such as Enoch had to when his bones turned to ash and there were tempests of fire around him as he ascended to the throne of God to record the deeds of mankind. And so therefore we have had several millenniums to create this process that allows for a dispensation of high radiant light that allows for you to safely be in your separate flesh. These millenniums have been used by the creators themselves to create a new form of ascension that allows you to take your bodies with you and to ascend them at the same time. To do this means that you will no longer seek the burdens of life, but the light of your soul. And as you do this, then you become the great and mighty instrument of God. But you will not be of mankind, which means that you will feel as separate and alien from it until the time that the light joins with humanity itself. And so we will begin this process of invocation. Sit into your centers, feel the light of God within, and we will begin this process. Go to the temple in the grand foyer of love in your heart, this temple of crystal and love and light, as we begin the invocations, opening the temple of love in the heart of God. Kolam tiash malandos, holam kitiam, holam tikiam balaman tikiam tamolom, holam takiam davishkiam, holam talayam, Chiskiam the balat, holam takiam the bal, kiam toman kamunda kliam, halam toshmialandos, halam tikmende edtantos milian, holam tukiam malan, chikamlom, chikiam the malan, tikiam the malan, tikiam the mala chikiam, holam tishmialandos, halam tikiam tamal, hiam kalan. It is as it was in the beginning, so it shall be again, before the great and mighty fall of mankind, that this light shall return in the form of those receivers of light, those of the temples of love, and they of their soul, though in a body, shall be as God again. It is they who shall, in the fulfillment of this prophecy, then create these capacities of divinity and prophecy, hitherto unknown in the realm of shadows, from which mankind shall rise and awaken. It is this love and light of the soul that now shall be as the beacons of heaven, so that mankind shall rise again to the fulfillment of its prophecy, as the humanity receives its wings and the angels their souls, so that then the fall shall be no more. It is this light that then shall be the fulfillment of this prophecy, and we shall then, in invoking the masters to come, create new decrees of prophecy, and command as such this light into the world in fulfillment of the shadows to be released, so that then there shall be this awakening of light from within, and it shall be that heaven shall come to earth from the soul in the first to the point of the mystery of creation, and this shall then allow the new earth to be. Feel this energy of this love. And now we are going to take this room, this physical room, and for those who are a part of this transmission, who are now instrumental in a part of this, and we now take and see the room around you. Look above in your God gates. We are creating a God gate of a direct dispensation of heaven, so that then it is the size of your house or your room. And now we, in the capacities of creation of the outer heaven, have forged a structure as you have here on earth, and therefore we now descend this structure into the walls and floors and roof and ceiling and all the structures of where you are now in your body. Feel this descending down. The archangels now descend this, and as we create this, this is the crystal that lands into your home. So feel this crystal coming into the body as it occupies its own corporeality, called the building or the structure or wherever you are. Even if you are outside, the trees become crystal and light. And feel this go past you, this floor, to become the foundation of your temple of love. And merge it in with this place, and fusing it, the flesh with the spirit, joining heaven on earth do we, to open the gateway of the gods. And now your places are neither here nor there, and allowing this light to become where you are. For now you are on holy ground. In this crystal temple, not of this world, that you are surrounded by now, we shall invoke this process to have these decrees, for it is proclaimed from the throne of God that there shall be a new issue of mastery, and mankind shall be freed from that issue of born, the incarnating cycles of which were not of creation, but then became that which held you down and bound you in the form of alchemy of the soul, to evolve and awaken as the great gems of creation itself, of the rays and sources and worlds and stars that you are from. For your destiny is to become the leader of your home world. In this, you had to be tempered greater. In this, you had to go through the greater gauntlet of the soul, the pressure being so extreme, yet you would let not go, because you knew that this covenant was eternal. As such, let this now be the new decree that allows for this freeing up of your soul from this corporeal cycle of incarnation, life after life, so because you are to become God again, then you have a continuity of corporeality. Your bodies of flesh, of carbon material, organic in nature, crystallize, so that then your light organic bodies will then in their perfection hold the heaven within them to be the pillars of light and life and love. As such, now as we invoke the archangels to stand in both here and there and here in the temples of crystal light in this realm and the other, we now open the gateway with the great and mighty Metatron's cube in the floor of your temple where you are, and we join it together and open the gateway, and we send this pillar of love and light to the crystal core of the heart of Mother Earth. So feel this beam coming from your house, from your place, going to the earth. And now as it joins and it opens up these gateways all over the world into the crystal core of the Divine Mother Earth, it awakens and stirs its energy, and it signals that it is time for her to awaken into her prophecy of spirit. She, having been burdened too long, holding those souls of lesser light called legates, shall be bound no longer with this love and light. And so therefore free shall ye be to become the master that you are, to be one with the knowledge which you have always had but yet had to leave, so that you too could become a human. As such, now the proclamation from the throne of God shall be issued a new decree, that all that which has bound you, as well as the ascendant masters, a new proclamation, a new covenant shall be given, so that the master shall not be encumbered by portions and the deviations of shadow of what endured and been known as, because they too have been sullied of necessity, for they were too bright for this world of shadows. And therefore now we open the gateway, and of your house, of course, the temple gateway that joins with the temple floor above you of your place. We now join this into a holy trinity. Kolam teleshmialandos holam katiam holantikiam talashmialan holam tikiam badashkialam holam takayam domalan. As we open up the throne of God and the heart, the temple of love in the heart of God, we issue forth this decree and proclamation to now that which shall be made new again, and the gates of prophecy, as they open up, shall pour forth the fulfillment of this, of that which is known in many races as heaven on earth. And now we allow this to pour forth and pour under this burden of illusion to the crystal heart of the Mother, as we join the gateways, as above, as below, as here. And open this gateway and allow heaven to pour through your place, yourself, as the temple and pillar of God. Pouring forth down in the crystal heart of the Mother, it is the love of heaven which illuminates her heart. And now we are going to bring in a great minions of angels to lift the burden of shadows of this yuga. So as they go below by legion after legion, do they now prepare to lift this great and mighty journey of shadows. We open the gateways to the hall of wisdom, so that then all these deeds shall be known and recorded for all the cosmos and eternity to see. And so now, as this is done, you will help us, oh great pillars, in your human bodies, participating in this broadcast. And is this a broadcast or what? So, 1, 2, 3, with the hands and power of God, we lift this heaviness of shadow from the veil, from the whole earth itself. The gateways are opened up above to transmute. And 1, 2, 3, you as God help us to lift this out, this burden of shadows that has been wreaking havoc for so long. 1, 2, 3, even down from the hell and purgatory on up to heaven now. So feel this rising up. Kolam tishkiam domalan, holam tikiam, holastikiam domalastikiam, hayam to kalam tishmilon, ho katayam domala. As we lift this up and raise it past, you may feel this energy as a breeze through your body, past your body from below to above, pushing out from all directions from below to above. This energy of heaviness we take up, and this burden of shadows that the world has endured, as well as mankind and you as members of it, shall now be freed from this burden. Feel this energy lift. You are God here. You are doing this. You have the power of creation, for you are not separate from the One. Lifting further the light, pushing up all of this with thousands of angels, lifting the burden from all of mankind. For this is the release of shadow from earth and all things of it. And as this goes up through the gateways and the portals into the atmosphere of your world, see it disappear, do you? So that then it shall be stand as witness and transmuted and cleaned and pured. And as this purification energy makes it as new again, it will be given as light, which will then trigger prophecy for your world, which shall be happening with the Wesak in 1 Earth month. And so now, to replace this burden of shadows, we also, through these gateways, as it cleans up all of this great and heavy darkness, this light of the soul shall now beam forward, and you will receive it as the greater souls of light in this world, as the keepers and holders of the torch of heaven. And we ask the Masters now to please come forward as we invoke them and proclaim them. And this decree shall go as it is from the throne of God to Shambhala, as we invoke the Masters to come to earth, to be a part of you, to give their gifts of their souls, so that you may receive this light, and in this you become the ascended Master. Feeling this light coming into you, feeling this love become you, feeling this joy, this soul, this energy, this lightness. This is your familiar. This is your source. For it is of God as you. So as this burden goes for the rest of this 2017, the shadow completes, is removed and replaced by light, and you are making it possible. In this, the Masters will be dispensing their love, their light, their wisdom, their decrees, their power, their gifts, their souls, and you become one with them as instrument and soul. Feel this flowing through you like a pulsation, a breathing, a rhythmic flow of energy, fluidic in nature. It is not held to the structures of the mind or man. or form. It is that liquid light of love that flows through you. In this you are the, and as you become this, there will be the wisdom on what to do with it and how to work with this power and how to make it so in the realm of man, because are not the burdens of man in its releasing going to rise up all of the shadows from his deepest primordial place? As such, you as instruments who are not holding the burden, but being that light of pillar and love, demonstrate through who you are in your great and glorious self, as one with God, that you are heaven on earth, and as they can be. This new communion shall be without burden or former encumbrance of covenant. It shall not be subject to a polarity, a separation, for this is the oneness of the light of soul, and therefore it is within the jurisdiction of the throne of God, and that no man, nor shadow, or anything lesser than that, shall have jurisdiction or venue upon it. And therefore, decreed from the throne, this then illuminates a new light on Shambhala, and a new beginning of prophecy fulfilled, as the masters now may walk among you and become you as well. Are you feeling this energy?
Yes.
What is it like for you? There is a quietude that comes with who you truly are. It is this peace that has laws of heaven, and there is a workings that are made new, that will allow the laws of creation itself to come in, but still also work with this realm of matter. It is these laws of heaven that then you will learn to work with, for some may be new to your familiar, and you will be shown how God creates, for you are about to do the same. In this, your light as God shall create these things for the new earth and for prophecy. For such as, look at this thing you have done, Brandy. It is now in your backyard. It is like, oh, we built it, and now what is going on?
They will come.
They have been waiting. And so, everyone on this yes, no boundaries. There will be Rebecca Renee coming in from her journey here, and she will be giving the dissertations of the angelics on the dominion level. So during this time that we await their arrival, we will share with you some of these mysteries of heaven that we will then finish on your Sunday as part of your service about how the throne of God works, because are you not needing to familiarize yourself with this since you have these powers awakening? You wouldn't want to accidentally overbless something and then be responsible for the cleanup. Oh, I stopped that war because I knew it was done, and now a war 10 times greater has occurred to fulfill its place because it was not finished in its evolution. Oh, I created a miracle healing in a child that was dying, yet now I've created and set in motion a set of karmas that go on. It has not been easy for you in many ways. There have been interesting things. But here are some examples of how more stronger experiences can be addressed. There is a woman who received a Metatron's cube. She liked it so much, she gave one to her son, and then the other son. And the eldest son went to college. And he was given this, and we make these available and invoke your tongues of your original code set and your tongues of Genesis. 2 weeks ago, the son had died in a car crash at age 18 in college. And they called Patrick up and said, the father wants the son's cube, but what do we do with it? And so, of course, Patrick is like, oh. And so the son took the energy of that love and light, and he was complete, for it did accelerate his journey here. And he became a guardian angel for that family. But his work could not be fully fulfilled with the burden of having a body. So he called himself up, and now is a golden radiant one for that whole family of an evolved nature. Another example was a woman who, with a loving husband of 30 years, who was so happy he would spread joy in his neighborhood. 30 years they were together. She wakes up and finds that he has died in his sleep with a smile on his face. She did not know what to do, so she called her son to make it appear that she could not wake him up after waiting over an hour. And imagine what she felt when her friend was gone without warning. 10 years later, Patrick and Rebecca were summoned to help begin again the process of their destiny, for their destiny is great. And it has been moved into awakening again. And so these are more intense examples of being transferred up to a different place. Because death is a part of life, you notice how, even though it sounds horrific and tragic, that then you see the gloriousness of it. When you, who have just died in the way to the ways of earth, and you have your bodies, come in as these newly born beings with these extra powers, and you find there is no instruction manual. How does this work? Oh, this is how you operate as God on earth in the realm of man that's separate, and this is what you don't say, this is what you do. And all of these instructions that are not there, but you have this power and ability. And you died similar to that death, but in reverse. How do you handle and make sense of this let alone be an instrument and be able to be one with that wisdom in a world that cannot recognize that level of power of God in a human. The way to do this is in the sight of God, knowing that as all is divine, even the darkest shadow in that way, as the part of that expression, realizing that you have these powers and it is not something, oh, you have to change the world with. No. Is the other thing working?
Yes.
Is it hot? Touch the back of that. But not too many buttons because it could stop.
It's supposed to be a square, right?
Yes.
It seems to be going okay, and it's not too hot. This not gonna keep running, get running again. It just stops and it won't start.
Then it is done. This is not over baking. And so, you who just died are in reverse, are you not? And you bring these powers of God with you, yet it's like you can change the world, and now you're not really supposed to. You can bless people, you can create miracles once you know how to do it. And then it's like, but oh, now that I've done it, or can do it, it's not necessary, because have you ever found that when you are ready to really deliver on something and then it's done and you don't quite get that cake with the beautiful icing? And have you ever thought, well, who is creating this stuff anyway? Shouldn't I actually really have that cake and eat it too? It is sometimes just through the possibility that is there that something is fulfilled. And is that not that which was supposed to give you the real treasure of life, which is the wisdom from an experience? It is not in this wealth thing, obviously. It is in the fact that you are getting it as God. And is this not a part of the process of basically removing the forgetting, because you already know this stuff? But if you remove all of it and you are one, then you've skipped a big gap in the evolution of mastery. So this is something that is not necessary to make happen, because this is not of this world. This is something that is. And in the is the realm of being. It is not doing here in the place of kinetic movement of materiality. Therefore, the is that is as you is not something that has to do to accomplish what you are seeing you are to be. Does that make sense? It is like you're already there. And so, but what about if I am already there and don't have to do, why do anything? You see these interesting scenarios that you have. Well, I'm already perfect, but I've got this body thing, or I've got this goal where the money is not there. These are the workings of the seen and unseen joining together through you, and as you become one with that universal self, your light in its becoming then creates that possibility, for is not the new earth starting within you? And in this, it is not something you have to do to become, because you already are, although there is the doing and the accomplishing in this kinetic world of movement, in this busyness place. So what an interesting situation you are in now. What you've sought for so long It's like here in your lap. Oh goody, I get to die today. To the stuff that held me back. So what we have added to this light is a governance of the throne of God that in its kindliness will assist you in a way that will not be tumultuous or dramatic or just really drastic. It is time for the peace. And as you do this, the lesson, the greatest lessons for achieving wisdom are the quietest. It is the most subtle. For how do you, if I must work hard to create something, accomplish something, when you have this God power, where does that fit in when you're accomplishing something? How does it work together? Oh, this knowing and this doing. As you learn to work with these processes of heaven and the spirit and the universe as God, then you are, it's the part in between of bringing it into this world, of dissipating and precipitating it into a place, distilling it to this realm of matter, that you then will find these treasures of heaven in the expression and the allowing of this process, which then can connect you with this beingness. And if you're so busy doing, then you are not able to hear the beingness, which is the quiet voice. So what voice do you listen to? Do you be? All of that is the thing that is not necessary to discover, because it is being revealed in its perfect time, because you already are it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Therefore, your life becomes easier as you work with this. An example of a divine life process is you're working on a project, there's some challenges going on, and then you get this guidance and it's really good, and you do something and it was really cool because it really added a new dimension or something really great to what you're working on. And so therefore you say, that was really nice, I want to have more of that, but then in your wanting of something, it then repels it. So you realize that instead of having to work at making happen, that there's a process, that there was a place where you got something which really added to the dimension of the project and made it really cool, but it was a place that you were not here in this place where you're busy. So then you go, oh, okay, well then if I then are available to this, then I will be able to get more of those cool things which make even cooler things in what I am doing. And so you get to feel this really great stuff. It looks like the broadcast is working because the computer went to sleep, so we will presume that that is what is happening. And so, as you do this, everybody, your light and your love becomes you, so therefore you start learning how to do through being. So, if you get this information, translate it here, it isn't so much to do something with it, it is to facilitate the process of being available to allow it to translate into the realm of matter and doing this. Those are the fineries of engineering your destiny, to where you will learn to co-create the perfect life that you know you are here for. So if you are able to listen to the quiet voice, you will get this guidance, and it will illuminate this process that will then be able to guide that action that you are doing to accomplish. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it is listening to the intuitive self and all of that. The time is very interesting, Randy. So as you do this, everyone, your light will become in this really great capacity. And your life will take on an enchanted quality once you know how to listen to the voices that are not so loud. And this will create a guidance system that will be able to have you facilitate and be available for something called the flow. And there's a synchronicity and serendipity that is a natural part of life because you listened and are able to hear those beings that are working with you as you start discovering what this is, so that then you can really start in interacting between dimensions, get something accomplished resembling your purpose. And so that is an example. Then you start engineering your destiny in the way that you feel that it is supposed to be. How many of you are wondering exactly what that destiny is? On the way to one fulfilling their own destiny, often they realize later on that they've been fulfilling it all along. And though it may not seem like it, it was not like it to this mind. And so then they go, oh, okay, if I just lighten up or relax, then I will be able to more better, succinctly listen, the finger on the pulse and all of that, your destiny. And this will then create the enchantment in your existences that will allow you to be able to experience life in a very divine state. Once you get to a certain place and things are magically flowing and it seems like you have this amazing thing happening, all of these synchronicities that you know cannot be by chance, that there's this great and mighty thing, such as this beautiful purple flower that was there in their backyard that decided to bloom so gloriously today for the weekend of the preparation for the Wesak. This is that magic that your life can take on as you rise up and evolve past the material separation and all of that. Is the broadcast still broadcasting?
This one's good, this one's
Yes.
good.
Good, because this has run out of battery. And so this then is one of the things that you can learn how to engineer your destiny, learn about the workings of heaven, and how the unseen is where that which comes into this physical world is created, which then precipitates into this place. As instruments of the throne of God, there may be times where you do not feel it, or other times you are so euphoric that you are wondering how you're going to be grounded while shopping at your Walmart. And that is that interaction between realms. And the other question that this is good to discuss is what happens to the negativity. What happens when there is such a light and there's this negativity that doesn't want it here and it clashes and is this stuff that really doesn't want you to do what you're doing as God. Just know that the earth, who is waking up by millions of lights focusing on her, lights beings of light like you guys, then it's like they are bringing in so much energy that the earth can no longer be bound by these energies. Therefore, there's this big tug of war resistance and stuff, even over realms of consciousness and the fabrics of material reality itself. One of the considerations is that these things that you have, your houses, your furniture and all of that, were made with polarized consciousness because this is where that is. So therefore, bring in oneness instantly, and what happens to polarized matter? It was made with polarity, positive, negative, all that. And so you bring in a unified field of a quantum state, And what occurs? The atomic structure itself could be destabilized. So there is something that has to be done in a certain way. As this dispensation comes in and this light is here and there's this evolving of this process, then there's an honoring of the shadow because it is an instrument of evolution. In this way, you get to then allow the facilitation by not overblessing it because it's doing its job. And according to the God capacities, there's a holographic stage. So that which seems negative, is it not evolving and refining those qualities that need to be rebalanced anyway? And doesn't the shadow come to seek itself in your life? To where then you start getting this, oh my God, I'm being da-da-da, but there's this thing that it requires to be rebalanced within your lives in order to be accommodating of this so that you get the value of it, which is the lesson, which then does not require it to be there anymore, and it can then, in an amazing way, go away. That is what is evolving within you. So these are these dances. This then, as these things are removed, your vibration raising up to a higher and higher level closer to your true frequencies of the soul makes this unavailable of the polarity. Therefore, you cannot engage that anymore, and you're done with it, and so you rise up and evolve. Then, as you get into your natural frequency, your life takes on enchanted qualities. That is why God can come in a greater way now. You will find yourselves being a part of unique projects, that these things that seem really cool weren't available before, or you didn't know about it. You will find that you are getting more fulfillment. In fact, the whole world has been, there has been an issue of an instruction to bring up every issue that everyone has, because they cannot bring that with them if they are going to still be on earth as she becomes the new earth. So it is an interesting time for you as the beings of light to hold that place and then be able to function in a material world. One of the keys will be to continue to let go of everything that you've known, to allow it to continue to just be released, and that will allow the other stuff to come in. Trauma becomes greater when there's a greater holding on of that which is complete. And so therefore, if you are able to continually release in the form of what you own or control or anything else and just allow it, the universe is starting to take the autopilot and trigger it on. This will allow your life to become more relaxed. The relaxation will allow this light to come in even greater, because now any charged, intense, or tight energy that you've had isn't there, and now the light really comes in more, and the more you relax and get connected with that, the more that comes in, and pretty soon your life gets on God's autopilot. And you're like, wow, how can this happen, and how have I been able to live without this? Because this is really great, I'm really having fun. Does that make sense? So enjoy your sucky lives while you can. Enjoy the shadow and the polarity. And in this wholeheartedly we mean, get the lessons while you can, because once it's gone, it isn't coming back. And that is the shadow is a great and mighty teacher. Get the value of that intensity and the density of the diseases, of the negativity of angry people, of that which isn't bright and light, and cherish that as a teacher, and you will receive that, and then it will go quicker. So enjoy your shadows while you can. this power thing is not charging because it is for another time to explain. We will see if there are any questions, but they cannot be seen on the computer. So if you are listening on the computer, then you will not be able to give them. But would anyone have any questions here about things? You notice how at the beginning of these experiences, you might have some, and then they go away, so by the time the one who's presenting asks you, they're gone. Here's another interesting science that you are to consider differently. And this is what Kartron and Patrick had refined. It is the science of the question. So if we ask you, what is a question? In a universal point of view, what is it?
You wanna know more about?
Yes, but what is the dynamic of a question?
Seeking information.
Yes. You are looking at wanting to find out and seeking information, but we are talking about the dynamics of the energy itself. What is a question mark?
It's an interrupted circle.
Yes, it is an interruption of a circle flow.
Yeah. Oh.
What energy in the cosmos is an interruption of a circle? Tachyon energy.
Talking.
So this question mark in your English, in whatever languages use it, is a symbol of the breaking of a continuity of flow. Science of the question then is a way to get in and stop that circle, because if you have an answer, it's flowing and the question says, but what about this? And it goes, oh, now we have to stop and answer that.
Yeah.
So then you stop the flow with a question.
So, and a question can be a pause, a break.
It can in the energetics, but in this world it is a question. Now, what is a question in heaven? Is it the same thing? A question stops the energy flow of a continuity to allow for the glitch that the human mind can comprehend. Oh, well, I don't know, what about this? But then, in your upstairs in the heavenly realms, is a question a question? Is there a breaking of flow upstairs in your heavenly higher unseen realms of energy, or is that a unified field up there in the quantum state?
Unified field.
Then how does a question, what is the dynamics of a question in a unified way?
A bridge.
A what?
A bridge.
Yes, it is. A bridge for what? We are not trying to put you on the spot, unless you're already on a spot.
Information?
Yes, it is a request for a query of information like a database. So it's not a question, I'm going to stop the flow. So then there is a science of the question here and in the unseen that is different. So knowing how to work with those allows you to navigate between this, because the laws up here don't work the same as the laws here.
Yeah.
And so if you go, I'm going to ask a question to God, well, it goes, but it is not the same science. So then it's like you can't get heaven to work the same here, because it's limit, it's separate. You're not one with it. So therefore, the science of the question becomes a science of the query in the divine, because there is no break of energy, it's already one. So you are requesting information, not asking a question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you know what sciences and dynamics and processes apply to which realm, then you can navigate and work it. Otherwise, it won't flow like you're wanting it to, because you are creating a working relationship with the divine. You notice how when you are putting that together in your backyard, that it then would start giving you information. And it would
Yes.
be a flow, and you'd get this other piece.
Yep.
And you didn't really seek it, it happened. Because you, in your working relationship with the unseen, was like, oh, well, oh, wow, and it started being a self-revealing process. And so now you've got this amazing gateway that we are not going to tell you what it does right now, because that's their form of entertainment in the higher realms. So if you were one and had all the knowledge, then it wouldn't really be like a separate individual life, would it? It would be too much of a shortcut, and you wouldn't enjoy the journey of getting the treasures from the unknown, of the questions, of the what ifs. And so, if you ask a question here, and you know how to use, say, intent, which is one of those things that can flow, a subtle science, and you can intend it as a request for information up there, then the dynamics, which are not as hard or breaking like here, then can then allow for a level of information if you know how to ask properly here, so that it activates the workings of heaven in motion of the beingness to allow the wisdom to come in. Of course, there's several other things to consider, but once you get that going, then you can, in your questioning of life, get access to what you already know, because you're one with it, that then creates this aha, that then creates a possibility that was not possible before had you not set that in motion. Does that make sense? Is that out of power? Oh, that will not fit.
Oh,
Because that is an Apple, the other is a Android. So could you plug that into the other device?
to here?
Yes.
Okay. It seems to be still going okay.
What is the percentage on the battery?
I think before it was online, let's say maybe.
I can't read it.
We shall take a care of
It looks like it's all white still.
8%. It is done.
Yeah, I think it's out of battery.
And so, that is one of the workings that you could use to create a working relationship with those beings that you have once you get to familiarize yourself with them. Upstairs, called your spirit guides, your teachers, the facilitators, the working gods, that then you can really start creating and engineering that which is called your own destiny. Once you do that, you get on the same level as they, and you give your guides a relief. Have you ever noticed how a lot of people make their guides and their guardian angels and stuff work overtime because they seem to act really stupid sometimes? And they insist on maintaining stupidity. They will be adamant at making sure that they continue to do the things that they know they shouldn't be doing because they really must. And that is one of the things that we made sure to break the cycle of, because the default was to remain into a lesser light, a densification. You helped us do that today. So now there's a light that is coming in that does not need to work with the foundation of that intensity of density and persistence of the resistance. So that means that if it works right, there'll be a lot less stupid on the earth. Or that which you would call idiotic behavior. Although, if you look at it in that way, there will be a divinity. So as you do that with the science of the question and having the working relationship of knowing the dynamics of working between the different realms, you will be able to then, as a co-creator of your own destiny, be able to start putting into the things in your life what you want. we are going to now complete. Patrick will come through, and there will be a break for your body workings to do what they do, probably called bowel movements, to then be able to prepare because the angel will be next. We would like to thank everybody all of you for what you have done and are about to do, and for this we say congratulations for what is about to happen. Because the blessings of heaven are now able to come in like they did not before. The benefits of this blessing, of this light, of this power, of this energy, of this love, of this alchemy of heaven will allow you to be able to really receive the power of that, because the nature of creation itself is that all things are blessed. Where there is a beautiful symphony of workings of reality. What has happened here was there's a lot of interference about it. And that is why I had to go from the throne to hell to even work with the fallens throughout history as an angel and not a geometric matrix, to then allow for this process to continue its efficient facilitation, because even though there are those who wish to postpone it, this is on schedule and it will remain so from a universal way. Thank you so much for providing the opportunity for us to do this. Let us now begin the fulfillment of prophecy in the way that has not been done before. Farewell, everyone. This is Metatron. He takes longer to go because he's bigger. It's actually 1/1,000,000 of a percent because he's 1,000ths of 1%. Wouldn't that be 100,000? 1/100,000th of him. That fits into the body. That's how big he is.
Wow.
And so that's what's safe to come in here. Because imagine if that was any bigger. And the energy brought in would be 100 times stronger or something. They'd be like, oh my God. So guys, hi on the broadcast. I'm presuming that this is going to work. I'm going to try and get this working so I can get this back up. This has been really cool. So that was Metatron, and that was Kartron, and that was D. Kennedy. And we are going to be then having Rebecca coming in, so she should be coming in soon. And so everyone, this would be the time to take a break. I'm just going to leave this on and continue to do this. And it feels like within a few minutes that this will work, and we're actually on schedule. That's really cool. So,
Traffic may not be though.
oh, yes, well, then we'll come in and we're good at
Working
coming
on
up with
that
other
traffic.
things about what's happening. In fact, talking about some really cool things like the quantum generator or something. So, wow. This is
I sent the Ganesh to clear their path.
That's right, we're gonna have the big elephants come in Ganesh, you know, make it happen. So guys, thank you so much. I'm not gonna stop this broadcast, cause I don't wanna go and deliver it out, so thank you very much. And I'm gonna get this computer working again so that you can let me know how things are going. And so we're gonna take a little break right now, and we're just gonna leave this on, and everything is good. Thank you guys, we'll talk with you later.
In a few minutes.
Yay, it's charging.
Do you have the charging cable for?
Yes, I
The
do.
iPad is all the matches.
Out of focus.
No, it's not working.
Probably the
Not
battery.
working?
Battery died.
Battery probably died. Huh?
Yes, it is.
Or dying.
And we didn't have the camera battery
I have
plugged in.
battery for a.
What camera
We
battery?
didn't have this one
Camera.
plugged into
Oh,
electricity.
is it working?
Yeah,
Oh, you saved it.
I
Good.
Plugged it in,
have
so
Good,
it
thank
have
you.
a-
maybe missed a minute or two.
I have the charge for the iPad if you need it, but
Ah.
it's short.
God.
That's okay.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna make this happen.
Here, can
Oh,
you use this?
Well,
This
It's
works.
subtle.
yes.
If you
Here, I'll
plug it in into the backside.
Yes. And let's see if I can get this to stay cool. Good. Now what I did before was this.
Give it a minute.
Oh, it's still working. Okay, good. I'm just gonna leave it
Working?
on. Yeah, we'll let it charge up.
4 o'clock, they were in traffic.
Well, then we'll just,
Oh, it could be better, they're here.
I was gonna get some sunshine, and it looks like it's walking in the door.
Yeah.
Good.
Park.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, it's lovely.
Oh, there is stuff here. Yeah, there's cookies.
Yes, cookies.
You're good.
Here for a.
Good. Wow. That's pretty tiny.
Yeah.
Looks like the angel is on her way. She's like showing up. So we'll be meeting in about 10 minutes, it feels like.
Alice will be in the building momentarily.
The presence of Metatron for me was really intense. So I couldn't even open my eyes, but like, you know,
Yeah.
and tears was falling down.
And he's a step down. He's like as small as, you know. So yeah, it's intense.
Yes, and I feel tears coming down. Hi. Hi.
Welcome.
Perfect timing to take a break.
Oh, we're taking a break? We're actually giving a break because they just had 2 hours of broadcast. It's on, but they know that we're taking a break right now.
So how was the arrival of the
Perfect. I'll show you. It's awesome. Okay. Actually, you don't. Not really.
Recorded the big pad, recorded what was
That's
on it.
maybe good.
It was phenomenal. When the flowers
He's up
burned,
in camera subject
I was
to.
looking at, checking to make sure they're working. And I noticed coming out of the burn pit, there was a golden ray going right to his back picture, right to the middle of it.
No.
And it just stayed there. And he came up and even wiped his hands.
Okay.
Wow.
Perfect.
What was going on? I was, I took a break at it.
Look at this.
Wow. Metatron right there?
Oh, yeah, while he was doing the invocation, he wrote this part. And this was opening the gate to the throne of God. Actually, I'm gonna show these people what it is. Yeah, this was a spiral gateway prayer. Oh, I wouldn't touch it.
Oh, I did, and it did something, I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, just leave it alone. I got, now I
All right.
I can't have the broadcast.
Rebecca,
Hi.
good to meet you, I'm Pino,
Vito?
F-I-N-O.
Vito.
Pino, I'm looking for.
Is this Rebecca?
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Boy, just dang, it's 7%.
I'm going to.
It was
Yellow smoky.
It was difficult to breathe.
You're welcome to go outside and breathe air.
Yep.
Oh, it's pretty cool. It's nice.
And Michael's having a nap?
No, Michael is not napping.
Okay.
Michael's the furthest from a nap right now.
Do you wanna go home?
He's working. He's up in council right now.
Oh,
The camera's right here, so the people are listening.
okay, well, just let me know when you are ready.
When he said right here, I looked down, I thought,
What are you, defibrillator again?
I'm gonna have to test it to see, I should be off. But I should have, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy like a cheap ticket to Houston and go to
It's not a good take on this.
That's awesome.
This is sticky, so when you're in a conference, you can stick it on the wall.
Yeah, like you can put it over there, that, you can put it on your poster. Is this from the ODL?
It's
No, I
probably
bought that.
from,
Actually, Rory left it
Rory.
behind. He bought it for his business, proposal.
It was from that time,
Yeah,
so.
it was under our, he left it, it was on our bed, and I pulled it out one time, and said, oh, I bet I could use that someday.
What was the real arrival of the female?
that's kind of a,
It's all very, very good.
yeah.
You'll be able to replay it.
This thing just doesn't wanna.
All right.
It's a lot of it.
Thank you for holding the place, Michael.
Saint Germain kept trying to come in to talk through me, to talk to Kartron,
He could have.
and I said, hi, nice to see you.
You too.
And I said, no, don't do that to me, because the last thing I wanna do is interrupt, have my body
Would
interrupt anything.
would Saint Germain still like to come in after Rebecca does her thing? Cause it won't be as long as what I'm getting as what, I had it scheduled for.
I don't know, I lost the connection.
Okay. Well, he wanted to say something, that was interesting. That
Well, he
means
was,
they
he
were-
was wanting to talk to Kartron about
They were
something.
working, during a broadcast? That's cool.
But I was saying no, because, it's kind of embarrassing. Come back into my body and then find that one of my dudes interrupted the scene.
He didn't.
So how was your flight?
We'll be on soon, people.
It's awesome. Is the bathroom open?
Yeah. So, how was your flight?
Mine was great. I slept all the way.
This
except for
won't
the
work
last
because
20
it doesn't
minutes.
have enough storage, even though there's plenty of
And the
stuff,
last 20
so.
minutes was nothing
Oh,
but.
I'll charge
I'll
it
give
up.
you my charge, but it is for
It's charging.
maybe.
In fact, it just went up another %, but it just doesn't have enough memory.
Yeah.
Um,
Take some time.
You get vertigo?
But if you just click on
Sometimes.
and then just leave it charging.
okay.
I have to convince myself I'm not in the air, so I don't sit next to the window.
Yeah. But they put me right next to it.
Hi, guys. Rebecca has shown up, and we will be doing that soon, as soon as you are all done with your breaks. And so we'll get that all going. Right now, Rebecca is taking notes, and I may be actually talking with her a little bit. And we're gonna find out the word from the angels and see what's happening. And then tonight, there will be that apportation event at the other place, which will be a different broadcast signal. And this was not meant to actually be a 3-hour broadcast, but it's all good. So, because it's just give out the link and let it roll. And the fact that it's still working is miraculous. And so, I found out that while Kartron was here, Saint Germain wanted to talk. It's not on.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
on standby, yeah.
and so wouldn't that have been interesting to have Saint Germain talk with Kartron? But I mean, if he wants to do that, then this is all part of the process,
Well, I was telling him not to interrupt, which is kind of arrogant on my part, but,
Oh, yeah, one minute.
I did, it happened one time in Seattle, and the person that it happened to got bent out of shape because it was interfering with her talk. So
But yeah, if they don't know what's happening, did she know that it was Saint Germain?
she didn't know what was going on, and I didn't either, because I was in trance, and he was gonna do that again this time, and I said, no, please don't do that to me.
Would he like to just say it tonight? Cause that will be,
I don't know, I
Venue.
lost the connection.
well, there's something important getting ready to happen if he wants to come in and speak, and that's Saint Germain, the one holder of the violet flame, everybody. So, we're gonna see what's happening with that. we'll figure out what's supposed to happen. No, you won't. And so, how was your flight, Rebecca?
Very smooth, it was good, quick, we
Oh,
left
good.
early.
It's someplace safe.
Nice, cool. And so everybody, Metatron was talking about some of the sciences of the divine that, Kartron and I have worked with and stuff, because he was waiting for the angel to get here, and of course he saw that she was arriving, and that's why he left, not why. And so the next step after Kartron created the Temple of Love in your heart, but the chalice of alchemy that this Phoenix has in the back chamber, in your Temple of Love in your heart, then that allowed for the Phoenix to be the carrier of the divine, of the frequencies. Then this will get into this, the next level, and then Metatron brought in the whole decrees of the thing of a new decree from the throne of God to help the masters get re-invoked basically to this world without all of those encumbrances. For those who know about the Ascended Masters, there's this whole thing about how they've had all of these issues to deal with as harbingers of light that are really, really just this big mess where they needed to mess with it, interfere, and all of this other stuff. It's just been crazy over the centuries of trying to bring in this light in a world that made sure those forces that didn't want it made sure that it wasn't going to happen, and they would try every key to really stop that Ascended Master process from coming in. So it's been a very big thing, and so this is a big thing, even though it's happening in a small temple space like the Phoenix Rising Metaphysical Center. It's still, in the quantum state, what this represents is going out, and it's designed to also ripple out through time, from here back and probably forward, so that then we can create a new pattern, because this is also connected with the artificial timeline that mankind was forced in, to keep it in the incarnation loop and stuff like that. So this is literally to disconnect that, and the lifting of the earth, the heaviness from the earth, was really spectacular. Metatron did that, and to then really take away the charge, which was the foundation that mankind has known. I see people, the whole system is designed to make you obsessed with war, negativity, and all this stuff. I saw this in the Alien movie, Life, and it was like, oh, another thing's gonna take over. It's like, oh, please. The takeover happened a long time ago. And so it's like, really? This is your big thing? You're gonna keep people in fear of this light family that's coming in? It's like, whatever. It's duh. But a lot of people are designed to stay in that, and they're not the ones that are gonna come into the new earth. It's going to lighten up here a lot. That's why all this crap's coming up, and it's just going to keep going more and more and more. It's very interesting. As this goes on, that's what we got to look at and be ready for. So that's what this weekend is about. We're going to get the Phoenix going, and there's a whole new design of the quantum field generator. Oh, our lips. And so, and so how are you doing today? You're getting ready a little bit more, right? Or are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, well, I just need to make sure that everything's working. I have one more thing to check out, so if you could give me just a little bit of time, I have to make sure that I have the proper internet. Randy, you can turn your karma off too.
Okay.
Because that thing wants to kick in. I'm just gonna
And is
check this.
Karma?
Huh?
Is Karma?
That's the name of the internet connection that Sprint
Oh, that's
makes or
right.
something. And so, you have to just check this out. And okay. So I'm going to interrupt this broadcast a little bit, and then we're going to. Okay. This is cool. And now that that's going, I can actually get it on because everything's stopped. And so we're gonna make sure this is working. And so you can say hi, everybody, because I think it's
Hi,
broadcasting.
everybody.
And so, and then we'll talk to you in a little bit, and you're going to help us with Dominion Angels, not just the Angels. So let me just make sure that everything's good, and we are good to go. This is exciting. So,
Did you turn this one off?
yes, I did.
But it was on standby, wasn't it?
Oh, it shuts off. You have to close the flap and then
Yeah.
open it again.
So we're about ready?
Yes, actually, when you open it,
Yeah.
don't turn it on yet.
Tell me when and I'll do that.
Actually, it's more fun to just keep you watching stretching up there. And
Oh, is it? Well, watch this.
So,
So Michael has a thing tonight too?
yes, he
Yes,
does.
Oh.
But it's not gonna be here.
Oh, it's gonna be the other.
It's gonna be in our new,
Gonna be at
Oh, I get to see it,
The room.
yay!
and we made a cabinet out of the lower part for Michael to apport out of.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see it. It sounds wild.
New toy,
Yeah.
new toy.
Did you guys see it yet?
We figured with the added energy, we decided to up our ante a little bit. I want a Golden Eagle motorcycle, he wants a new car. You know, we can get big objects without a big energy,
They're
right?
gonna try.
Yeah.
They're gonna try and make Michael apport Harley Davidson.
Oh. Didn't somebody apport a
Just kidding.
dog or something?
I'm kidding. Okay, you are on.
Okay.
See, isn't that pretty?
Yay!
Okay, so,
So
and
that's our group on there, right? Hi, everybody from our group,
yes, so.
and welcome. So I just
yes,
got
we
off the
are.
plane probably a half hour ago.
Hi, Rebecca.
Came straight here, and we'll figure this out. I took a few notes. Patrick just told me to talk about angels.
Well,
It wasn't very
actually,
specific. So I'm gonna have him interview me. I thought that'd be even better. And I'll definitely be more prepared tomorrow, and we'll just bring them through in a little
Okay,
bit
so
too.
yes, basically, this is going to be, you're gonna explain the higher angelic realms and invoke the Dominion Solar Angels,
Okay.
and we'll wing
Can I
it.
have my music and
And
all
we're gonna
that?
use your, yes, I brought it,
Okay,
but
I
you
love
need,
working
we'll need to
with
get it
music.
up, so you can get the
Okay.
music up on here, and,
I wrote
but,
a few notes. Let's see what I wrote.
how was your human flight?
My flight was very smooth. I loved it. Very interesting. Some people that have never been to Texas before were on the plane talking about how everything's big in Texas. Someone told them that's what to expect. People come in for all different reasons. Someone's daughter was actually almost a NASA physicist, but now she's a principal of a school in Austin, and the youngest one in the state. Yeah, it's amazing how you can multitask. One of the cool things healers can do is hear like 10 conversations at once. And the other one was a dancer from Florida who was going to Dallas for a dance competition that was a Latino Hispanic male dancer. So a lot of people coming here today with me for different reasons. So it was a good flight. A little bit tired, but it's all good.
Patrick?
Yes. Oh,
Just a little like one way or the other.
now there's more distance.
Well, you want me to zoom this one in?
Well, let me see. Oh, it just looks so cool. Oh, you did it already.
Yeah, I was recording.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Okay. But, yeah, so I wrote a few notes. How do you want to?
You can begin.
Okay. And then you're going to interview me?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna interview the bathroom right now.
Okay. Well, you just said talk about the angels. So my connection with the angels, for me personally, started right around age 3 that I can remember back. And I was unusually sensitive, diagnosed with ADHD, typical, one of those indigo children. And the interesting thing about it, I could always feel them around me. But when you're that open to your senses are that open, it can literally, to some people, I think it would overwhelm them. Like some kids, I can understand how they could be in the crazy house. When you can hear and see things that well, sometimes it could very much overwhelm you, and you don't you know what it is on some levels, but other levels, you know, it's kind of like almost like the show Supernatural on some levels, you know. And when you are open to that, you're also open to the other energies too, to be able to see. And I don't think some people, if they opened up that young, although a lot of kids do, would be able to handle that when you're seeing Sasquatch behind your bed, or you're seeing visions, or even seeing the dead people, you know what I mean? So definitely your sensitivity gets opened up with it. Mine was opened up very young. My whole family, I come from a family of mediums, psychics, just very spiritual people, so I was kind of destined for the spiritual woo-woo life. I took it to the level of the most woo-woo, I'd say, out of all of them, although not so much though, you know. Interesting stories. I would sit as a kid and I would listen to my family's stories about the angels, about saints, just different people, beings I'd connect with, and most of them being mediums, the dead people that they would connect with, and amazing stories I'd hear. One of the most interesting ones was my grandmother's story. She was a Pisces like Patrick, actually had the same birthday, and and she used to fall asleep telling about my grandma. It's a really cool story. I Love Lucy, and sometimes it'd be really late at night, and she fell asleep, and it was around 2 in the morning, and she just had her screen doors locked. She didn't lock the other doors. It was a warm summer evening, and she felt a tap on the shoulder. She was home alone other than the dog. And you know that state where you're just in a semi-conscious state of coming out of sleep, and she kind of jumped, and she was like, okay, and she looked over, and in the vision she saw by the door were my grandfather's work boots, and his coat was hanging up by the door, and he had been dead for over 10 years, so... So, and she looked again, and she was like, okay, am I imagining? Like, this is really interesting. And she was peaceful about it, though. She didn't freak out. And she said, then he whispered in her ear, and he said, Margaret, go lock the doors and go to bed. You've left the doors open again. You need to lock them tonight. So she went and locked both the doors. And interestingly, she lived next to a police officer on the left, and a state police officer lived 3 houses down. But interestingly, the street in front of her was robbed that night, and the street behind her. And so yeah, and her deceased husband tapped her on the shoulder and said, lock the doors. So yeah, so that was typical in my family. So different ones would have communications like that. So and about connecting with the angels at such a young age, as I was saying, when it opens up the sensitivity, especially being in class as a child, you can hear the psychic noise of everyone in the classroom. And you have not only your voice, but probably like 20 other little voices in your head. And you know, as you get older and the gifts develop, and you're not understanding why you know. One thing about angels that's really cool is they know. They just know. They know things. So, but yeah, you get that knowing also in working with them, and you just know, you know whose mom yelled at them before they came to school. You know different things. You know sometimes you know who peed the bed last night in 2nd grade. You know, you shouldn't know all that stuff. And then it's like, it's interesting, and sometimes to try to shut that out for kids that are open so young and connected to that angelic realm, even though they're here for amazing purposes, can be challenging. Let's see here. Whenever you want to interview me, well, I'll let you know. I got some notes. So let's see. Another thing about the angels, there's a hierarchy of angels, in the biblical sense, that a lot of people don't know, but on some level, they're one big angel. They're a unified field of the most purest source divine love. And yeah, that's one thing a lot of people don't know. I'm just winging it because you told me to talk about angels. So I've had several.
Is that an oxymoron? You're just winging it?
I'm just winging it. Yeah, I always say that. I'm used to having him next to me too, so it's all good. My experiences have been with several types of angels. My favorite are the angels from the photon belt, which we can bring through in a little bit. My group's very used to. They're all connected to their own. I don't know if they gave them a name. I don't know if they all gave you guys a name to call them or not, but it's okay if they didn't. They're more of a frequency anyways. And a ray stream, another thing about angels, they're a ray stream. I work with, well, the IET angels are of the violet ray. I've worked with them for years and years and years. The photonic angels are higher. They're from the white ray, and those are not for beginners to work with. Probably why everyone here is able to really work with them. You really have to build your crystalline body to be able to channel them and hold them and keep your sanity and stay grounded. They're from the center of the photon belt, and I started working with one of the photonic angels. It was, when was that? When was down at Miriam's, when what's her name came?
Radiant landed at the Awakening to Oneness.
Yeah, we did. We actually had the quantum field generator that we talk about so much and our group's familiar with. The quantum field generator is a sacred geometry, which will be Lord, it's overcast all the time. And I was on the phone with Patrick, and all of a sudden, it's amazing. And we both spark each other. We spark each other's creative senses sometimes. And I had my eyes closed, and he's talking about this generator thingy, and all of a sudden I see it's amazing how angels and guides will speak to you sometimes. There's clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance. Sometimes they'll use all of them. It came down as a spider web. Energetically, I had my eyes closed. I'm on the phone because the sun was actually bright that day. And there's a spider web coming down. Instead of a spider being on it, there's this beautiful geometry with, what do you call it, the 5 and the 6?
Yes.
I always get confused. 5 and the 6. And as he's speaking of it, it's literally forming, and to watch something come in from the spirit realm and then materialize, to see it materialize later. I mean, imagine watching a baby come in, ethereally to come in. It was really cool. So, and to see it done a couple months later, exactly as he drew it was exactly as I saw it. So we were both kind of on this. It's more his baby, but I was really cool to see that. So if you got to be around him yet, isn't he funny? He's outrageous. Oh, it gets worse. So anyways, I have a lot of stories to tell you about him. So anyways, so that's how the quantum field generator came about. But yeah, the angels, sometimes they'll speak to you in visions like that. Sometimes you'll hear. Sometimes you'll just know, which is a very common one. You'll just know things. And let's see, what else did I want to cover here? Why did I talk about that? Oh, and that's when the photonic angel came in. I actually stood in the center. Amazing things happen with this thing. People end up crying on it. They get activated. They get their life changed. I have a friend named Barbara, not Barway, in Florida, and she had a life-changing moment on it, and then that led to sessions for her whole family. So it's different every time, but it's an absolute creation. And so what had happened was that week, I kept scratching my neck, and my neck was like really weird, and someone was touching it. And a lot of times that's another thing, they like to do that, they'll materialize and touch you, which is always fun. But this one was annoying. Usually it's a lot better. And it was like, and he was looking at me, and we were in the car going on the highway, just going like this,
back and forth.
and I'm smacking my throat chakra because it's itching, and it's feeling like it's
AC.
Stretching, and all
AC
this
blowing it.
all this weird stuff was happening. And didn't I try to put your hand on it to make it stop or something? But and I didn't know what it was. So we were at Miriam's house down in South Florida, and a healer friend of ours. And we had a psychic from Montreal, Canada there, and she got around to my part of the room. She's a really cool psychic. Her neck turns, speaking of necks, her neck turns beet red when she channels. But she looked at me and she said, there's a new angel that wants to work with you and she has a lot to say. And I was like, oh, and she said, she's the one that's been bugging you all week. She's making contact with you. She's trying to be gentle and, you know, things like that. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, do I need another angel? I mean, I was like, so that's how that started. And lo and behold, on the quantum field generator, I stepped into the center, which is the most powerful spot for me anyhow. Usually the speaker, whoever, I don't know, we kind of rotate with it, but whoever's speaking kind of starts out in the center of this geometry. And that's when that angel came through, and oh my God, that was a moment. We had Atlantean beings. We were in Florida too, coming through. And that kind of started that whole thing. And he just kind of looked at me, and she just started speaking in angel tongues, and we were activating people. And I mean, I had big guys. We had, we call him Michael T. He's bigger than Michael Shane. We know a lot of big Michaels here and there. We meet, you know, they got to ground all that energy. So, and I literally, and the power that came through me at that time, I was like, oh my God. I literally just touched him, and he's probably like 300 pounds, and he started wobbling, and he started jiggling and the whole thing, and I was like, and then there's another big guy, Glenn, and the same thing happened to him, and I was just like, okay, this angel's pretty juicy. So different powers, different doses, I'd say, of the angels that they'll give you sometimes if any of you channel them. Different prescriptions for your mission.
Susie Walsh is saying it blew us backward. Michael had to hold us both.
Oh, absolutely. And you said you oh, she's the funny one. And I looked at her, and I guess the angels sometimes they'll look through my eyes, and Susie was looking, and then all of a sudden I had everyone gathered around me looking at my face, and I'm like, wow. And Susie goes, you took me to the edges of space. She took me to the edges of space and time. And I was just like, geez. So it was pretty amazing. So some of our encounters with angels, personally, the angel of death, I've met her 3 times. That's what I like to give my name for. She's definitely a warning angel, and to anyone who's ever had a near-death experience, you might have known her. I call her her. You might have. You know her voice all too well. I got goosebumps. It's unmistakable. The first time was in 1998 after my younger daughter was born. I had a kidney infection, and it went septic. And I ended up in the emergency room twice. The first day they kicked me out with, it's a long story, but anyways, I ended up there the second day with 105 fever, and I took the thermometers for proof. They didn't believe me on the first day because I got the fever down a little bit before I got there. And it was in the winter up north. We had a lot of sick babies in the emergency room and things like that. Well, all of a sudden, my heartbeat started racing like really rapidly, and I started convulsing, and I bit my tongue. It's amazing to have an extremely high fever. You can feel extremely cold and extremely hot all at the same time. And I bit my tongue. I had blood running down my face. I was a hot mess, and my stepmother was in there. I mean, I was on death's door. She's a nurse too, and she never worries about anything. She'd take her kids out with fever. She was actually worried about me, and she isn't one to see auras, but she goes, I gotta tell you, at that moment you were completely ash, all color had left you, and you were looking too good. But she had, I don't know, used the restroom or something, and I'm like, okay, get the doctors while you're out there. I'm getting really hot. And all of a sudden, she comes in the room. She's at the left of the room, and I was like, oh, shit, we're in trouble. It's like I was only 27 at the time, and I just had a newborn that was 2 weeks old. I'm like, I know you. I was like, I know you, and I was like, I know who you are. And I was like, why are you here? And then I'm like, duh, I know why you're here. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, yeah, you need to make some choices. And I'm like, I already know my choice. I just had a baby. And we did a life review. And we clearly decided at that moment that it would be absolutely horrible for my daughter's dad to raise her without me, that she needed me. We clearly, me and her both, she was a big part of my decision, and my other one too, but we made a clear choice in that moment. And I said, okay, I'm still slipping out of my body, and I said, she was there about to snip the cord, she was ready. It's amazing how we can control our fate too, you'd be surprised, at the oversoul level especially. The life review, it was like, oh, not such a good girl all the time. This is good, that's good. And it happened just in the blink of an eye, but the whole movie, it was so vivid. And it was like, okay, we got some things to work on, but good, I get to stay. And it was like, okay, how do I stay? I'm slipping out, you know, my heartbeat's going like that, and I'm sweating, and I'm convulsing. And she goes, open your mouth. And I was like, okay. And she goes, very quickly, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I mean, they're funny sometimes, and I'm like, okay. So I just started screaming at the top of my lungs, oh my God, I'm on fire. Hell's freezing over. God help me, for the love of God, get in here. Fuck. Excuse my language. I didn't care at that moment. Get the F in here, whatever would get attention. It was like attention. They're killing me, you're killing me, all this stuff, everything. It was very Scorpio dramatic. All of a sudden, a nurse comes running in. She clicks the thermometer in my left ear. This is the kind they used back then. And she looks at it. I remember her look on her face. And she goes, that can't be right. I just looked at her. I'm like, oh shit, what do I have now? And then she goes into the other ear, and she goes, oh my God. And I said, what? And she goes, 106.3. And I guess you can be brain dead at 107, something like that. All of a sudden, the doctors come running in. I'm a code something. I'm code blue or whoever she is. All of a sudden, they're all running in. And I'm like, next they're stripping the clothes off. And you don't care when you're that sick. You're like, eh. And I guess nowadays, if a fever's that high, they can, in some of the modern hospitals, they just throw you in the cooler. Literally, you go in your own freezer till you're cool. But they had it under the armpits at one point. I learned a lot under the groin. I still was way out on that silver cord. And it is tempting, even though I had a baby. There's always that tempting, because it's so nice on the other side, you know. But no, I gotta stay. People need me here. So it was like, okay. And I looked at the doctor and I said, I'm gonna make it. He goes, oh yeah, you are. He goes, I'm gonna put something in you to cool your veins. Something, when it gets into you, it'll cool your veins down. I was still way out there floating now. I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm about to float out. And it was the nurse, she popped me back in, and Angel was literally working through her. That made me laugh. And she had blonde hair like me. And she just looked, she was right over me, dumping ice on my head. She was literally my face. She goes, yeah, and she goes, don't worry, honey. I know you're a blonde, but we'll save brain cells. Like that. I started laughing. And normally I hate blonde jokes, but that there was actually cute, you know, and I'm like, really? Like, because she said it was so cute the way she said it, and all of a sudden, and I started popping, really popped back into the body, and all of a sudden, I was like, wow, I'm back in, and the meds were started, and it took about 4 to 5 hours, but I got down to 103 fever. A few weeks in the hospital, and then a few weeks at home on an IV. So that was my first experience with her. I don't like to see her, you know. Didn't see her for years after that. And a lot of times the angels will warn you of simple things like, don't do business with that person, don't take this class, just different things, don't take this job. Simple things, but they'll give the big warnings sometimes. The other one was Patrick and I were traveling from Vegas, and we had to have a rental car back by 1 in the morning, and it was, I don't know, right around 8 or so, and around 8 or so, and we were on a limited time because he wanted the refund really bad that we were getting. It might have been $200 maybe or something.
$700.
Oh yeah, it was pretty important. In the meantime, we're probably about 5 miles into the trip. It's at night. We're both very tired too. And all of a sudden, there she was again.
Louder.
All of a sudden, AOD, I call her AOD, she came back again, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. And she's like, yeah, she's like, you need to tell them to pull over. You guys, we'll get the refund tomorrow, it's okay, you don't need to drive tonight. I'm like, yeah, I'm really tired. And I'm like, he's not gonna listen to me. She's like, she was speaking very clear. Sometimes, people are, oh, I can't hear my angels, I can't hear my guides. She was very clear. We're not to do this trip tonight. And I'm trying to tell, do we have to, I was just trying to make it as a question first. Or, how about, no, he insisted we kept going. All of a sudden my stomach, I'm literally getting nauseous. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm like, okay. And by that time, I was extremely exhausted because I felt like I had opposing energy. She's telling me to do one thing, and he might not be hearing her even though I am. And I'm like, all I knew was I had to stay awake. So we drove for a little bit further, maybe an hour or so, and all of a sudden the car is going about 85 miles an hour, and I'm almost asleep. I went like this, because I knew I had to stay awake, and we're literally about to drive right into a mountain. And I just started screaming, and what do you call it, my outside voice?
I was not driving into a mountain, and you used your outside voice.
You were driving into a mountain.
I was not driving into a mountain.
See?
I've got more proof than you because I made sure my side was recorded on the Akashic, and yours, conveniently, the security
They're
camera
all
wasn't
psychic,
on.
they know you're lying. So so that was that. And then another time it was, we had traveled a lot over the past 2 years.
What is that?
Just my stories I was going to talk about.
I know, still talking about the angel of
Yeah,
death.
so the third time was was going to be a near accident. It was about a year later, and I felt her again, and I was like, okay, I'm really listening to you now. And it happened so quickly, that one. We had to be in Burbank to film Streaming for the Soul or something. We were headed to Los
Do
Angeles.
you have a feeling before the angel of
Oh,
death
God,
shows
yes.
up?
Oh, it's
Well, I mean,
horrible.
before it shows up, what do you sense? An ominousness?
Yes.
A spookiness?
All of the
An
above.
out of sorts? What
It's
is
not
it?
a general, like, people have general anxiety. It's this is important,
So,
listen.
but is it dread?
It's beyond dread.
Or is it, in other words,
You
this
just
is
know.
this is it, life and death.
Yeah, this is life and death.
So this is before the AOD shows up.
Yeah, and I've only really had her 3 times, so these are my personal
I
experiences.
mean, that would scare people to death.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're trying to tell someone about her that she might not be talking to them.
Yeah.
So the other one was,
Do you think she goes on dates?
I think she dates a lot of people when they cross over. Yeah.
Yeah, she's to
She
die
asks
for.
me- Yeah, she really is. That's good. So the other one, we were traveling, and it was about 3 in the morning, and I felt her presence. But it happened so quick. It was just like another one, like stay awake, and during those times,
You don't need me here, do you? 'Cause
yes,
you
I
s-
do.
Yeah, but
So let me go back to the first road trip. After that, I called in the Dragon Council and I said, Patrick, we're going to the one where we almost ran into the mountain. We went to a truck stop and rested, and I called in the Dragon Council and asked him to put his body to sleep so he wouldn't argue with me. so anyways, the next road trip, what had happened was
dragons do know how to put you to sleep.
there was a semi that was knocked over, and it slowed down a lot of traffic, and it was 3 in the morning, and he didn't see the semi in front of us, but we almost crashed into the rear end of a semi we literally had to stop from about 75 miles an hour in like a split moment, and I don't even know how we did it, but we stopped. We probably, by all laws of physics, one of those kind of things, we should have hit the semi. That was also an angelic intervention for us, and all of a sudden it was amazing. Even though I knew I was about to go through a semi, on some level, if we didn't stop, this amazing peace came over me. It was indescribable. I should have been like, I had the freak out after. It was just like, oh, we're stopping. We might go through a semi, but I'm okay no matter what. I'm just energy kind of feeling. I'm okay. And we stopped literally, and I was like, oh my God. And we looked to the right, and there's the semi overturned. And I was like, wow. And I didn't have my freak out yet. I looked up at the sky, and I thanked them for however they stopped our vehicle. And I saw the most beautiful shooting star in that moment, and it was like amazing.
I'll tell you what, you know the broadcast that we did going through Atlanta?
Yes.
Do you know what happened after that?
No.
The next day where we were broadcasting, part of the overpass collapsed.
That y'all went over the day before.
So that these construction barricades started on fire and it just overheated it and it fell, so I'm not taking credit for that.
Wow.
But it
That was-
happened the day
that
after
was our-
you said we're gonna do some healing, and didn't you send some heat into Atlanta?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's
I'm
wild.
gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna light my pillarette on you.
Yeah. Did they know about pillarettes?
The pillarette is when you have a good spiritual time that, you know.
They're
and it's
quantum
good for-
cigarettes.
Yeah, quantum cigarettes, so you can light up, cause it was really good, so it's like,
We have Pleiadian lights,
Look
Venusian
what I did.
100s. So
like, oh yeah.
those were my experiences with that angel. Not too common to see her. Let's see here. How are we for time? We're good. Okay.
Well, it's all good.
Okay.
I'm just, the broadcast is still going on.
Okay.
It's amazing. The phone
So,
is like,
yeah, my personally, and I know you all, I'm sure have, well, obviously we do our broadcasts, we work
What is
with
the
the angels
percentage
all
on
the
that?
time, but, I had another
upper
angel,
corner.
another,
6.
Okay.
wild experience with the angels was, when I went through, our whole group has heard this story probably 500 times. I caught up my 5 months of cooking when I started channeling one of the bigger angels, and I was in bed for 5 months because I couldn't acclimate to the energy. It was like too much for me.
And
I
that was
couldn't ground
Angel
it.
Soleil,
Yeah.
the one Michael heard about from Metatron.
Yeah.
And she was so big, she couldn't fit into Rebecca, and it was not killing her, but she was out.
Yeah, and I had been used to working with much more gentler angels, and this one it was like almost assaulting my body. It was. I felt like it was kind of rude at the time, and I couldn't function. And it was a huge period for me. They closed all the doors in my life, my old job, old relationships, and I pretty much couldn't work because I was so dizzy I couldn't function. So I was in bed a lot, and at the time I was house sitting for my dad. They went on vacation. I was watching 2 dogs. It was probably about 3 in the morning, right when the veil's nice and thin in the middle of the night. And I heard the dogs barking, and I was like, okay, I didn't really think too much about it. And I started waking up as they barked a little bit, and that, again, in that semi-conscious, lucid kind of state. And there was the most brilliant, amazing, diamond fire, white light above me. And I'm half asleep, and it's like 3 in the morning, and I'm just like, oh. I was like, abductions are actually real. I'm like, well, I'm so tired to fight you off. And I'm like scanning them anyhow with a bit of weight. And I'm like, seemed good to me. I'm like, I'm not sensing any negative energy. And it's like, okay. So I literally, it was like they lifted me out of my body. And this was extraterrestrial beings, but the angels come in after and did something amazing. And they took the core of, what do you call the core of the soul? Literally, I guess, the essence. And they dipped it in the central sun.
People don't talk about a soul core very much, so
It was-
they usually just call it the soul.
Yeah, it was the heart. It was the essence, literally. So, but yet, because of that, such a strong connection still to the physical body, I literally felt like sizzling in my body. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know what it was. It was the most biggest, in my life, I'd say the hugest baptism by fire experience I had ever experienced. And I was like, oh my God. And I told them, I was like, you're killing me. I was like, if you keep me here 1 more minute, the physical body's gonna short circuit. I mean, it was like I became one with an X flare or something. It was insane. So then they, just to the point where I couldn't stand it, and they were doing all this stuff to my brain hemispheres. Neurons were firing. I was like, what? I felt like I was in a movie. It really was. And it was like, okay, I was like, fine, just kill me. Because I get frustrated with them sometimes. And you can talk to them. They love you unconditionally, so you can tell them how you feel. You just do, you know? So it's like, yeah, it's not like there's some holy, you know? It's like a friend,
They
you
are
know?
holy, but they're friendly.
Yeah, they don't care. They know what it, you know, they don't know what it's like, but they have a sense of what humans go through. So it was like finally put me back down. It's like, oh, we're landing. I'm still kind of half asleep. It's 3 a.m. on the couch in the living room, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, my dad must live by a portal or something. I'm like, I need to explore this more. And I'm like, and I said, I don't know if that was heaven or hell, because it was a little bit of both. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I ever want that again, though. And then all of a sudden, they sent a couple hundred angels. Oh my God. Some of the best angels I ever experienced. The bliss was beyond the blissometer, if it could be ranged on a scale of like 1,000. They started stroking my aura to integrate what they just did into the physicality. It made me so euphoric. I was like, oh God, people go do ayahuasca for this? Oh God, I don't need it at all. And they were literally touching my arm hairs. We do something similar to each other. But, and they were materializing. It's so cool when they start to materialize, which is kind of rare. And the arm hairs were moving. It was just like, it was like an angelic massage of the aura, but it was real light. And it was just like, oh my God. It was like fabulous. And I literally felt like weightless, like I could just float away. And I was like, okay, that was worth it. Dip me in the sun anytime. As long as this is the outcome of it, I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, I didn't want to wake up the next day. I didn't want the sun to come up. I wanted to stay with them. And it's interesting how we have this duality, you know, on our awakening, and they'll put you through heaven and hell sometimes in the same week, literally. You know, we go up and down with our consciousness, so it was so amazing. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I wondered if any other human ever experienced that, and like, if they could even handle, I mean, it was rapturous. Could they even handle that much joy and bliss to top it all? I mean, I thought the kindness was going to kill me from them. You know, of that, it was like, wow. So,
It'd be like puppy breath times 1,000.
oh God, yeah, I love puppy breaths from heaven. So, so anyways, how did I want to finish the story? So the next day came, and I was just like, okay, you know, you meet these amazing beings sometimes. Was that a dream? And it was like, oh hell no, that was real. Those dogs were barking. I know that was real. It was like, that was not a dream. I fell asleep for a little bit. After that, the activations really started. I did not sleep for like 7 days straight. That's how much energy they ran through this physical vessel. I was like, you're kidding us. It got to the point where, thank God I wasn't working a 3D job. I thought I would lose my mind. I had to go to my physical doctor, who thinks I'm woo-woo, thought I was woo-woo anyways. Well, he's on the other side now. He probably doesn't think I'm that woo-woo. He's like, oh my God, are you going to go off to Sedona and chasing the Yeti and all this stuff? I was like, I just need sleeping pills. I was like, I can't sleep. And he's like, you know, I actually did meet some meditators like you. And he goes, some of them are interesting, he goes, but you're definitely out there or something. I'm like, okay. He's like way across the room, because I know I'm radiating and I'm just like booming, and he like can't handle it. And he's like, all right, he goes, just promise me you're not going to leave the state. I want to like, because I like never take sleeping pills, and I like need 7 days straight. I'm calling every shaman friend, because I hadn't met him yet. My third eye's pulsing. The one shaman's like, you're connected to 7 planets within your third eye. This and that. And I was like, I don't know, whatever they did to me at 3 a.m. And he's like, oh, they did a lot. And he'd monitor me. It was like the movie Lucy. He'd be like, you're at 48%, you're at 50%. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, when does it stop? So angelic experiences can, overall, they're beautiful, and they're always for our highest good. Let's see here, what else I have. Other stories of where, I have amazing stories that aren't my own are one of them. He's on the other side now, but it's, he was my nephew through marriage. He was in his early 20s, and he liked to, he could be quite a drinker. And, I had him on a bit of a spiritual path, but he, actually rolled his car over, on a Pennsylvania nice sized mountain area, and, he ended up at the hospital. And as he was coming to. I know they had him on a lot of medicines. The car was literally on top of him. He should have been dead at that point. The doctor and nurses asked him, well, there's no way you could have got out of this car. There's no way. How did you do it? And he said, what do you mean, how did I do it? He said, the guy came over and told me to punch the window, helped me out of my, whatever, if he had a seatbelt on, helped him, whatever, finagle out of there and get him, I don't even know if they sent help for him. He was in the woods in a remote area. The odds of how he ended up at the hospital are literally beyond comprehension, but he did. And his mom was sitting there and she goes, the man that told you to punch the window, there was no one else reported on the scene. So, so yeah, they're so amazing. Another really cool angelic intervention was there was a lady in New York City, and actually walking through not the worst area, but a questionable area, and she ended up witnessing another lady way down the street get mugged, and could very clearly see the person that did it, and they took her purse, they did this and that. Anyways, for the story, they ended up in court, and the perpetrator, the robber said, you said you saw all of this, and she goes, I did, and she goes, but I have a question for you. She goes, why didn't you come for my purse? I wasn't that far away. And he goes, are you freaking kidding me? He goes, the two guys on each side of you would have killed me. So they literally materialized.
You know, Bigfoot asked a really nice question on the webcast.
Yeah.
And he goes, what about angel numbers and how our attention is always drawn to look?
Oh, that's an amazing one. Yeah, the 444s and all that. Yeah, it's literally a contract that they have with us. Some people call it the 1111 syndrome. What people noticed with the angel numbers was, well over a decade ago, even before 2012 and that, was that everyone was seeing these, and it was no coincidence. When you literally had like hundreds of people, if not thousands, seeing these numbers randomly, and then people just started channeling, okay, this is what they mean, people that were in contact with the angels. And it's amazing. It's always true to form. The angel numbers are spot on for us literally every time. And the 444s are beautiful, especially if you're worrying about something. The angels are letting you know they're already working on it, they're going to take care of it, which was me this morning. Where did I see it? I thought I was going to be late for my flight. I don't know if it appeared on the TV. Something happened, but I was like, oh good, I'm going to make it, because it was questionable as to the line at the airport was ridiculous in Florida.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yesterday,
it's
Randy and I
amazing.
went to the hardware store, and there was a 1777. We got something.
On the license plate in the car in front of us.
1777.
And then we
As we
came back.
drove into the parking lot.
Same number, 1777.
We came out, there was a car right in front of us.
It was like the same identical
Sevens are
number.
very lucky. That's miracles, and huge miracles.
333?
Very lucky. 333's ascended masters are all around you. Kuan Yin, Jesus.
222.
Mary Magdalene. The 222 is don't give up on your dreams. They're coming to fruition, even though you can't see it. You're pulling that energy down from spirit to manifest. So they're happening, even though you might not see it. For an example of a 222 moment would be, go to Binghamton, New York, and I'm like, oh, it's so cold up here. And it was like, go to Binghamton. And Kathy's like, I have 1 or 2 clients for you. I'm like, would that be worth it to go to Binghamton? And they're like, go to Binghamton, 222. Everywhere I go, 2222. I'm like, okay. I'm like, our funds are a little low. We need this money to get back down to Florida. 222s everywhere I go. I'm like, okay, we get there and we're literally like bombarded with sessions. So it was amazing. So it ended up being really cool for us.
Okay, 111 and 666.
111 means watch your thoughts. They're manifesting quickly. 144 means you're in a window of creation. In that moment, think of what you want. Just hold it as long as you can. 144 is like warning you, like don't think negative so you don't create it.
So, I saw 5 sevens.
5 7.
5 sevens,
Oh my
is that
God.
on a license
Yeah, that's
plate?
lucky.
I
Sometimes,
don't know, I don't
That's
remember.
huge
I
miracle.
saw
you know,
5
sometimes there's
Yeah.
license plates that'll have 5 and 6 numbers, it's like and it's like all the same. Well, 888.
888. I believe that means you're coming to completion with something. Don't
We
hold
only
me on
have
that.
555.
Oh,
and
an
a 999.
abundance. Triple 8 is abundance also.
And a 555 and a 999.
555 is change is on the way.
And a 999.
That might be the one where you're completing something.
Isn't that
coming
miracles?
Full circle. No, that's 777.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3. I know each one is significant of something. So 1 deals with manifestation, 2
You know-
deals with it materializing, 3 deals with ascended masters, and 4 deals with angels. So I think it's like a combo. That makes sense. I mean, if you think
all
about
in
it.
good order.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Wen Thang goes, about numbers today, sunny day in Paris. I saw 444 2 times, 222, 333, 888.
I love
So
it.
He's a really nice guy in Paris. And so then Susie was saying, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit because this is so cool. When she gave you, she was on the quantum field generator and radiant came through and cooked her body part. She said below her waist was burning, above her waist was ice cold, and at her waist was a vortex that was very powerful.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Ooh. And so now we've got the stronger, more mutated version of the
It's
of the quantum
amazing.
field generator that we're going to be.
Sometimes they'll literally
Yeah.
put you in the observer position.
Can you invoke the divine angels?
Yeah, that's why we're here.
What?
That's why we're here.
You know she can do that.
Well,
So
I was
can
just
you
looking
all
at the
can?
timing because we're
Yeah,
going to
let's
be
do this.
we're going to be doing our.
So can you, we all
you
can.
should have the music, and that way because this phone is still working and I don't want to push it. Music,
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah, here.
okay. Yes. Bose has a lady in here that's trapped, and we try to rescue her all the time.
I got a new hairdo. My daughter's in beauty school, and I say cut off 1 inch, she cuts off 3.
Okay,
But it's all
so
good.
you can time it. Anyway, Bose has this woman in here, and she won't leave.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
that's okay.
She
And
unplugged.
so- yeah, that's okay. And so she tries to always get out.
Battery 100%.
What-
Connected to Edmund.
It's wireless on yours. I have one that connects like that. Both
And,
are
and
good.
so, but she's always telling me what's going on, and Kartron's always trying to get her out of here, but she's stuck.
I don't know if this is the
So
one I
why
want.
does Bose do that? Can we do it in French or something? Well, that's.
Okay, turn it up. Okay, if everyone could uncrush your hands and feet. Just get into that state of peace, love, eternal joy, eternal happiness, and unity with all that is. Let's take a deep breath in through our nose, sending that breath deep into the belly, bringing the highest, most beautiful levels of consciousness into our bodies. And then exhaling. Perfect. And then another deep breath into the body, into the belly, deep, deep, deep as you can go. Letting go of the past, letting go of the future, coming into the eternal now where God will always meet with us. And if at any time you feel your breath shifting, that's the angels adjusting your fields, bringing quantum rushes of energy into you. And another deep breath in through the nose, sending this breath deep into the belly. Exhaling, completely relaxing your body. And I have to take everyone through the photon belt again sometimes. It's my favorite place, so I do it a lot, so I hope everyone doesn't mind. So let's start by expanding our awareness and remembering what it's like to be completely formless, completely nothing but pure energy. Indara ukushuma, vutara ivikishima, vukushundara a, vikisimi ivikishiva kusu, vukushundara atara ivikishi. And now we'll start ascending up and inward through the first veil, the photon belt. And we ask the angels to spin the electrons in our physical vessels by 25,000% as we raise our physical vibrations exponentially to the highest and most beautiful, beautiful vibrations of divine love. And the angels can never stress this enough. You were created in love, by love, for love, and no matter what happens in your life, it's but temporary. You will return home to love. And continue to allow the angels to expand your energy bodies, becoming very, very large, very, very big. And next we start our ascent up and onwards in through the second veil. Tara uvu koshimi, va tara ikishima u, kushutira avekisima, vi kishi tara u tara ivikishi. Remembering your ancient origins, ascending upwards and onwards. And we ask the angels to increase the spin of our electrons by 50,000%. Feel the eternal love, bliss, and homecoming that exists here for you. Knowing that we can always return home, the door is always open for us. And the unconditional love of the angels is eternal and has nothing to do with right or wrong, good or bad, or anything regarding polarity. It just is. Feel the angel's breath upon your face and the love that surrounds you into the deepest parts of your heart and your soul. And now everyone, a photonic angel will join in with each and every one of you. Embrace this angel energetically, one assigned to each and every one of you. And make the connection heart to heart with him or her. Most of them are androgynous. And ask your angel if him or her has a message for you today in this moment. And just receive that message and a quick energy adjustment from them. And now if you can see your angel before you, hop upon their back and feel the depth of their wingspan as you continue upwards and onwards, in and through the third veil of the photon belt, raising ourselves even higher into the most highest and holiest Godhead realms of spirit. Itara uvu kushuma vi ikada anana ima kisivi kishi avi kisitire ukushuma vadara iva kasamanana manana mama kisitira iva kashima ukushitira aveti. Expanding, expanding, increasing the spin of our electrons by 100,000%. Feel the eternal love that is you, that always was you. Beings without form, eternal, without beginning nor end. In a state of love and harmony with our Creator as one unified field of light, one unified field of love. And from this space, we connect in with all of the healing angels of the energy field, all of the ascended masters. Just send an angelic heart link from your heart. Connect in with all of theirs. We invite in our guardian angels, those magnificent protective beings that watch over us from birth until death. Throughout each of our incarnations, faithful and loyal friends. Make your connection now with your guardian angel who loves you more than words can say. And we invite in the Ascended Masters, King Solomon, King David, Sanat Kumara, Katumi the Real One, Saint Germain, and the Brotherhood of Light, the entire Brotherhood of Light. El Moira, Lady Portia, Lady Nada, Mother Teresa, Princess Diana, Abe Lincoln, George Washington, Gandhi, and the blue avians, we welcome you forth. Special blessing. And now we'll do a quick DNA activation to upgrade our DNA. First pair being physical, second pair being emotional. So first pair deals with our eye color, things like that, our genetics, our predispositions. Second pair is emotional, dealing with maybe we would be introverts, extroverts, pessimists, optimists. Third pair is mental, dealing with our belief systems. Fourth pair is genetic soul profile, connected in with the fifth pair, which links us in with our soul family. And the sixth pair of our spiritual DNA leads us to a place of divine surrender to the will and plan of the divine. So I'm going to trace some sacred geometry upon everyone, and we'll start these spins and upgrade our DNA to the highest, most refined levels. And now we'll see a vortex spinning around all of us clockwise as we join hands. We ask the angels to increase the spin and refine our first pair of DNA. And now our second. And increase the spin, and now our third. And now our fourth. And now our fifth. Continuing as we hold hands in a circle, increasing and optimizing our DNA. And now we invite all of the healing angels in to optimize our sixth pair of DNA as we sit beautifully and peacefully and humbly in the circle of light. And we let go our will and surrender to thy will. have the angels bring this vortex to a stop. Now we'll begin our descent in and down through the photon belt. Before we do this, let's share this love with every man, woman, and child on this planet, plant and animal, igniting the divine spark within each and every one of their hearts, inviting them to awaken into their highest levels of being and their highest levels of mastery. And now we begin our ascent in and down through the third layer of the photon belt, bringing back all of this love, wisdom, knowledge with us. We ask the angels to start lowering the speed of our electrons in our physical vessels. And again, continuing our descent in and down through the second veil, leaving behind a portion of our photonic angel that resides in this dimension, and bringing forth a part of our angel with us to help us fulfill our mission here on our beloved planet Earth. And again, lowering the spin of our electrons, we gently slip down and in through the first veil. Bringing all of these amazing new codes with us, new vibrations, and the peace and harmony that these dimensions give to us, as we once again remember who we are and why we're here. And as we do this, start making our way down to our 8th chakra soul star, 4 feet above the head. And let's bring our consciousness down to there. Sending it in and down 4 feet below through our crown, in and down through our third eye, in and down through our throat. Remembering the magic that you are, the miracle that you are. Bringing this energy down into our heart as we shine the love of God and the love of Creator everywhere we go. Sending this energy in and down through our belly, solar plexus, in and down through the sacral, the root, in and down both legs. Sending 2 energy cords in and out through our feet, down and through the Earth Star, 4 feet below us, and continuing to send this energy down all the way into the heart, crystalline core of Mother Earth, tethering it around 3 times like anchors on a ship. And we are complete.
Flawless timing. This is the time that was
I'm
brought to
dizzy.
incredible.
Ooh, that was great.
How was that, guys? That's
Wow.
Radiant and Rebecca ganging up on us.
Wow.
Everybody, we are going to go, and at 7:15 there will be
My
another
cells
broadcast
are
link.
jumping.
And
I,
so-
I can't help it. I
Well,
love going
talking
up
about
there.
prosperity and abundance, look what you brought me.
What the?
It's for my neighbors.
Oh, I was gonna say you got 4 big boxes that just came in. It's like, okay, that's Jesus delivering another package.
Thank you, delivery angel. I'm back again.
That it? Oh.
I've never seen a FedEx guy smile like that just so guys, thank you so much for your patience
you,
in getting this working.
everybody.
It's been really great. And for those who are signed up for the apportation event, Reverend Michael Shane will be doing that. And we're gonna see what's gonna happen at the quantum field generator, which is gonna start, in less than 2 hours. So I gotta go break down, set up. There'll be a potluck, and we'll see you over there. Life is good, and thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our in-studio audience, with all these cool angels in the audience that I just met today. And thank you to our on-camera group.
You're welcome.